Hello, everyone. Welcome to the inaugural Game Kastle RTT. Glad to see that we have some people in the chat so far. So, yeah, this is our first stream ever. So, sorry if anything looks a little rough. Obviously, you can tell that there's a little bit of a glare.
Oh, it's not as bad anymore now.
Yeah, yeah,
it's moving.
yeah.
It'll eventually move off the table. So,
all right, awesome. So let's go ahead and get started with game one here. So on the well, I guess on the topmost side on the scoreboard, you can see we have Ryan Jarrells, and he's bringing a mixed demon detachment. It's got a whole bunch of keepers, a big old bird.
let's go over his list really quick.
Yeah, let's go
Let me
ahead.
pull it
and
up
do
on my app.
that. Yep.
BCPTO.
And with this too, I guess, yeah, just to go ahead and mention him before we go over his list too, we also have Jayson Guy, who's going to be bringing the Necrons, headed up by the Silent King himself.
From what I'm seeing over there, he's got multiple keepers. He's got 3 of them, I think.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty standard triple keeper.
Mm-hmm.
And the name. Oh, and the named one.
Oh yeah, he does have a 4th keeper there.
What's the named one again?
Yep.
Shalaxi, okay. I know Celeste is awesome, but... Alright, so Ryan's list. Ryan's got the triple keepers. He's got a Keeper of Secrets with the Quicksilver Reflexes. Man, I'm not good with demons. Delightful Agony's Hysterical Frenzy. So Delightful Agony's clearly one of the better demon spells. Just gives a... Wait, no, this is the demon version, so it's a 6-up Feel No Pain. The Space Marine version is a 5-up Feel No Pain, so it's like way better. But demon's a 5-up too now? Are you sure? Okay. Okay, I'll take your word for it. I think it's a 6-up, man.
Yeah, we're gonna have to fact check that.
Let's fact check that really quick. But anyway, let's finish Ryan's list. So he's got the 2 keepers. He's got the unkillable Big Chicken, the Lord of Change, with the 3-up invul and the -1 damage. Bunch of Nurglings. 25 Nurglings set up in 5 units of 5. So clearly the better way to do that. So you don't suffer the penalties to your coherency or blast weapons or anything like that. So, and then quite big enough so that they can be regenerated and everything still. So 2 units of 5 Screamers. Another Keeper, Shalaxi, and some Demonettes in another detachment of Patrol. So, pure Demons, 3 Keepers. Isn't it 4 Keepers? 4 Keepers, and a Lord of Change.
Yep,
so,
one of which being...
all the big monsters. So, unkillable Big Chicken, plus 3 Lords, named Keeper, 3 Keepers, and then a bunch of Nurglings.
All the good things that the demons have.
Yeah, sure is.
Yeah, so, you want to go over Jayson's list?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sorry about the audio right now. There's a little bit of a pop.
You can move that over here. Is that even possible?
Yeah.
Because I can't see the freaking screen.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
Got him.
That's an update. There was 5-up in Battlescribe.
Yeah, the Space Marine one's 5-up, and the Demon one's 6-up. I remember that it's different. But you could cast, I think, the Space... No, you cannot cast the Space Marine one on Demons. But you can cast a Demon one. I don't know, it's weird. Okay. Jayson's bringing 2 Zarek detachments. Isn't that the Silent King's, isn't that, his thing?
Zarek?
Isn't he Zarek?
Yeah, Zarekon.
Yeah. So, I'm not actually sure about that. I'm going to let Fork here, our Necron expert, do this one.
Yep.
All I really know is Novak and the Custom Dynasty that gives you the OBSEC and all that. So.
Alright.
Says is a reroll the wounds, 1 wound die per unit, and then 5-up Feel No Pain gets 4 wounds.
Yeah.
We're pretty close to the players here, so sometimes you might hear them piping in. So they could hear us, we could kind of hear them, so we can't give too much tactical depth, or else we'll be coaching them. So.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yep. Going over Jayson's list. So he did bring a Zarekon detachment. That's going to be a Supreme Command with the Silent King himself, the daddy of all the Necrons.
Yes.
Looks like he's also bringing a battalion attachment, which is also Zarkon, so he is going pure Zarkon. So if I remember correctly, that's the 5 up ignore wounds
I
for
saw.
mortal wounds, and also we'll figure out what the rest is later once I look up his rules again, because I actually haven't played Zarkon yet.
Zarkon. Oh, I
Yeah.
see.
And then for his HQs in that battalion, he's bringing Orican the Diviner, who's pretty much a souped-up Chronomancer. We've got a Overlord with the Orb of Eternity, which is the really good Resurrection Orb, and a War Scythe. Also a Technomancer with a Canoptic Cloak, so that's the quick Technomancer that can heal D3 wounds to any Dynasty characters, which looks like it might synergize pretty well with the Silent King. For troops, he's got 2 10-man some Immortals with the Gauss Blasters, which I think for 9th edition, that's the better choice for right now. Got 16 Warriors, looks like he's filling that in for points. And for elites, we've got the Shard of the Nightbringer. Ooh, I didn't see that at first. So yeah, that's
Nightbringer and Silent
yep,
King.
bringing all the big toys today. Fast attack, we've got let's see, Canoptic Scarabs. He's got 5 of those, and he's bringing
5 in 1 unit.
Yep, just 1 unit of 5. And for the Praetorians, we've got 10 of those with the Rod of Covenant. And actually, it looks like there might have been a list upload error with this because he has a duplicate of his battalion. But looking at like the actual points of that, that's like everything right there.
Okay. Cool. So, if you're looking at the terrain right now, to define the terrain, there's 2 L's in the middle. Those are both obstructions. They are ruins. There are arches underneath, so that players can pass underneath the wings of the L. There are 2 dense cover patches, which looks like Ryan put his Nurglings into. Those are the 2 patches on the top of the screen, at the bottom of the screen. On the bottom left corner and on the top right corner are 2 deployment zones as well. Thank you so much. And then the trains are just obstructions. The players could define the trains however they want. I think most of the time they're going to be defined almost like shipping containers are, where you can stand on top of them and stuff. The trains, like, you cannot see through, but they're not very tall. They're not obstructions, so stuff like Nurglings or infantry could hide behind them, but like tanks and stuff like that probably cannot. This is Hammer and Anvil, mission 22 battle lines. So there's those 4 objectives, which are marked by the nut objective markers.
Nevada Ultimate Tabletop.
Yes, the Nevada Ultimate Tabletop objective markers. So we got 4 objectives. Looks like Ryan elected for the right side there. And then, of course, Nurglings get everywhere, so they could be in the middle of the table. They can deploy No Man's Land. So Ryan can actually start on those objectives right off the bat. Right now, he's actually explaining his psychic powers to Jayson. So it looks like some screamers up in his deployment zone L. So they could hide there. He hasn't even started putting down his keepers yet, so it'll be really interesting where those go, because those are going to be mainly the heavy hitters of his list. I've seen him actually take flamers before. It doesn't look like he elected to take them today. So this is also a very interesting mission as well, because there's no objectives in safe places. Every objective is actually out in the open. I guess there's the 2 in dense cover, but there's no like easy objective to hold within your deployment zone like in most of these scenarios. Most of these scenarios, there'll be an objective at least in your deployment zone corner ruin that you could hide behind.
Oh,
But not on this one, so.
Looks like we have a request to read the fluff for the mission briefing, if you don't mind.
Is that
doing
Ron
so.
that said that?
There's
I bet
a
it was
good
Ron.
chance.
All right, I already said it to the players, so rest assured we are following the rules here with step 1 in the GT mission packet. So I'll read it here for the stream so everybody else could get getting the right narrative for this. So 2 armies approach the same battlefield, determined to capture this vital strategic ground that separates their battlefield lines, and if possible, strike deep into enemy territory to deal the foe a devastating blow. There'll be some devastating blows being dealt today, especially in this game.
All right, cool. So before we get any further, I just wanted to say thanks to some of the people that have been following the stream. So it looks like we got Skull 089, GX Vasker, and Mason Basin. Thank you all
It's
for
Mason,
joining.
probably. Mason couldn't be here today because was
Yes.
afraid of a little bit of snow over the pass. So.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we're sad to not see you here, but we're glad to see you in the stream.
Yep.
And also a few other things we want to talk about since we haven't done so far. We didn't actually get to introduce ourselves because, first time streaming. Sometimes you got to learn from mistakes. So for myself, I'm Chris Forkner, and for my co-host here, we also have Trainer Wolf. So other things we want to talk about too. We want to talk about some of the sponsors for this the stream and the tournament itself. So what we have is you see all this terrain on the table right here. This is actually all 3D printed terrain that a bunch of members in our community helped print to. Sorry, lost train of thought. Got caught up in the middle of it.
Yep.
But yes, so all of the terrain we have on the tables here were all 3D printed, and all of this STL files for these 3D printer all come from War Layer terrain. So you can see all the L's, the dense cover, even the side L's, and the trains themselves all come from War Layer.
Yeah, we want to make sure we thank Warlayer for giving us the STLs. We purchased quite a few of them, but they also reached out and helped us out by giving us the rest of them. So later today, we will be doing a sweep of the tables. There are 18 players. There's 17 players here today, so 8 tables, 16 players roughly. There's one that has a bye right now, but most of the tables here have 3D printed terrain. This last weekend, like myself, I'm going to refer to Chris as Fork because that's his nickname. So he's Fork. Fork and I and a bunch of other guys here, we all just got in his garage and just like busted out all this terrain.
Yeah, it was quite the experience. At least for myself, I've never had to do like that much batch painting all at once. I mean, with some spray paint, big dry brushes, and some craft paint, you could really get a bunch done. Yeah.
So we're aware of the glare problem right now.
Jeff.
Jeff's helping us out with that right now, and it looks like he did something to help it out a little bit. There still is a glare on our faces right now.
Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna have a suntan by the end of this.
Maybe not me.
But you know what? Also, first time stream, mistakes were made. We'll learn from them. We're definitely gonna choose the place without the window for the next corner we choose.
This is also of course, it's an 18-man RTT today, and we are sanctioned by ITC and everything like that. I'm the TO, so midstream I might be cut off by various players asking for my help or anything like that, but Fork will keep you guys entertained.
Yep, I'll be here to keep you guys warm and cozy.
All right, so it looks like...
Yeah, actually, you know what? We didn't get to go over the secondaries yet, so let me go ahead and pull that
that's
up.
true. Yeah. I guess that's kind of important.
Yep. So on the screen, you can see we have all the secondaries picked out here. So first going off with Ryan's secondaries that he chose. He first chose Engage in All Fronts, which seems like a pretty given with how fast his army is and having those Nurglings start up in front of the board. He also took Grind Them Down because his army is really about just killing you with those keepers, and between that and the Psychic that could be coming out of the Lord of Change as well. And then he also took Assassinate, since Jayson's list does have 5 total characters in it. 2 of them are going to be pretty hard to take out between the Silent King and the Nightbringer.
I think Assassinate is a pretty tough pick. I think most players tend to pick Assassinate when they see their opponent has 5 characters, but it's kind of hard to kill all 5 of those characters, because usually at the end of the game you only have characters left.
Yeah, but but we'll see what these demons can do with their Psychic and melee potential.
Yeah, there's 2 of those characters are going to probably be thrust right into Ryan's face with the Silent King and the Nightbringer. So those are, I guess, characters he needs to kill to win the game. Engage on All Fronts is actually pretty easy for demon players to get off because they have Nurglings. And these Nurglings are kind of sitting in the middle of the table. They could easily push into Jayson's side of the board and then secure all 4 quarters for him, at least for the first few turns. But also, I think that Ryan will be pushing out with his demons, trying to really be aggressive here. Jayson's got... Necrons tend to be a little bit more of a defensive army. They're not very fast. They've got fast elements like Scarabs and stuff like that, but they definitely don't match the speed that Slaanesh demons can get. So I think Ryan's going to try and really push into Jayson's deployment zone and into his side of the board, at least for the first few turns, and try and score those Engage on All Front points and Assassinate points and Grind Them Down points. So let's go over Jayson's secondaries. He also took Engage on All Fronts. Engage at all fronts is probably one of the more common secondaries to take. A lot of the secondaries are very difficult to score, and engage is definitely one of the ones that you could really just score just by moving. So
Yeah, as long as things are alive, which sometimes they might not even be, but still, it's something where there could be some agency for the other players to try to take you away, but it's still pretty difficult to try to deny that in most cases.
You might make a poor decision trying to score engage at all fronts, but
Yeah.
at least you'll score it before you'll lose the unit that you pushed into your opponent's side of the board, you know? Code of Combat is it's a Necron specific one, and it's one that I see Silent King players take all the time. Do you want to explain Code of Conduct?
Yeah, so for Code of Combat...
Code of Combat.
Yeah, the Code of Conduct, we made sure everyone signed that before going on the stream this morning. But anyway, so Code of Combat, so every time a noble character kills a unit, you just get 3 points. So that's where it becomes pretty strong with the Silent King, just because he has so much output potential that you're likely to score like a minimum of like 9 points for that, as long as you're doing your order of shooting and target priorities.
It kills
correctly.
a unit, not a character, right?
Unit.
Yeah, any unit. So the Silent King himself could kill quite a bit. Doesn't he have like 11 attacks or something like that? With all of his
he has
his two
9,
buddies.
He has so that's actually the interesting thing about that. That I'm actually gonna pull up.
His buddies don't count as nobles, do they?
I don't believe they do, but I'm gonna check the wording of that.
I know the menhirs don't technically count as nobles either, right? So like if you blast someone with a menhir, that does not give you a code of combat.
Yeah, but what
point,
I'm
does
checking
it?
to see is if it's a noble unit or a noble model.
That's very
that has
important.
To get that. So let's go ahead and pull that up real quick. So let's read the full Code of Combat. Score 3 victory points at the end of the battle for each enemy unit that was destroyed by a Necron noble unit. So actually, the menhirs do count for that.
Make things a little simple, so we don't have to like be like, well, did that shot come from the Silent King himself, or did it come from the menhirs? Because he has like a bunch of shots too, and I know that he's got a staff and he makes attacks with it, and I know that the two attendants on his base also make attacks as well. So having them all count in one makes things pretty simple, but also it makes it easier for him to get Code of Combat.
Yeah, and also another pretty cheeky thing that you could do with Code of Combat is with a Silent King, he has a D6 mortal wound explosion that goes out 2d6 inches.
Yeah.
And that also counts for the Code of Combat. So one thing that Jayson could do this game is really like go into his lines and then spend 1 CP, auto explode.
Yeah. And Abhor the Witch is pretty easy to pick against demons because they're all psychers.
Yeah,
so
all of his
you just
big
kill
characters.
kill 3 big characters, which you're probably gonna do during the game, and you just get 15 points. That's, I guess, the one downside to taking this kind of list as Ryan is like you have no choice but to just like eat that secondary. There's like nothing you could do about it.
Yeah,
so.
and also when I was listening and with Ryan picking his secondaries before the game, this is one of the lists that he really wants to try to do Psychic Ritual, so that's casting a Warp Charge 4, I believe, power within 6 inches of the center of the table. But because he is playing against the Silent King, it's going to be hard to do that because the Silent King, he naturally has a Deny the Witch, but then also he has a 1 CP strat, where if he's within 24 of any Psyker that's casting a power on a 4-up, that power just doesn't go off. And that's one way to like really like mess up someone who's trying to do Psychic Ritual.
Right. Also, as you guys can see, the victory points started at 10 because both players are battle ready. We are enforcing that at this tournament. It's a fairly liberal standard here, though. We're just kind of going off of like if you're roughly the same color that you're supposed to be. We're not even doing like the 3-color thing. So I guess we're going to deviate a little bit from the rule book because this is for some players here their first tournament experience. So
yeah, and also with this being an RTT, like we want to be more welcoming to the newer players as well. Like we don't want to like sort of like shove them away from the hobby by saying you have to paint everything, otherwise you can't even play in this tournament.
And then eventually we might up that standard later, or we don't know yet.
Yeah.
This is our first time running a tournament in Reno as well. So
Yeah, well, I mean, 2 firsts for us right now. First time running a stream and running a tournament at the same time. So there's definitely it's going to keep us busy today.
Yes, it will. We also want to thank Kastle Reno. They just opened like this year during the pandemic. for sponsoring us today and hosting us. I know that with all the COVID stuff going around, especially in Nevada, LVO just got canceled. So we know that Nevada's really shut down, and they were able to persevere and get us accommodated. Now we can't. We have 18 players, and the tables are very distant. Like later today, we'll probably go through and show the tables, but no two players are really within 6 feet of each other, and everybody's wearing masks. There's hand sanitizer on every table. In addition to that, store attendants itself, they have a very strict policy where you're either shopping in here or you're playing in this tournament. We have the whole store to ourselves, and the store is massive. So we will be definitely following all the COVID requirements set out by the state today. Our occupancy is 25 right now. That's with the statewide pause causing us to be only at a quarter of our occupancy. So with 18, I think like there's about 20 players here, 20 including us, and then roughly 3 or 4 customers could come in at a time. And the store is massive.
Oh yeah, this is like probably the biggest store we have like in the Reno area, like easily.
Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about the game. So looks like Ryan elected to go first, and I think he's in a psychic phase right now. But as you can see, he's moving those two greater demons straight up into Jayson's lines, like I thought he was going to do. One Nurgling unit kind of moved a little bit off from the center into the middle, kind of just hugging that cover. Big Bird's on the upper side. So this is on Ryan's right side, so he's going to swing around the right side there. It's a very aggressive opening move there, because it does not look like Ryan's going to be trying to hide at all. Where's the Silent King? Is he at the bottom? Yeah, he's at the bottom. So,
yes.
Fortunately for Ryan, the Silent King, I think he has an 8-inch move.
Yeah, he has 8-inch move, but he does have fly.
Yeah. The Silent King probably will not be able to shoot at those two demons in the upper...
Yeah, upper right-hand side. Yeah.
You have the drawing app.
Oh, yeah, let me actually...
Pull up the drawing app so I can help out a little bit.
We have the technology. Eventually we'll have the technology.
Ryan also painted his demons very well. And, like, you can see one of their bare butts right now from our table.
Yeah.
Because we're on the other side.
Yeah. I know at least...
We're behind Ryan right now on his deployment zone side. So.
Yeah.
It's just really jarring looking up and seeing a purple... two purple ass cheeks facing me right now.
Old demon butt. Yeah. Also, I know for 2 of his keepers, he actually is using the creature caster models, which are awesome.
The bottom right one is a creature caster.
Yeah, no, I had the pleasure to commission paint his male version, the one that's in between.
Male one?
Yeah, the one on the upper middle.
Are they really male or female?
Yeah, there's a spectrum to it.
Yeah, there is. Especially when it comes to Slash. So we're going to pull up the drawing app here so I could, I guess, give a little bit better commentary here.
Yep, here, let me make sure everything's good. Actually...
So what I'm thinking Ryan's going to try to do here is essentially trying to push to, like, just overload Jayson early. A very valid strategy, especially in 9th edition, is if you could hold your opponent up for 2 or 3 turns, you could essentially stop them from scoring for a lot of the game. Especially if you could hold them up by turn 3, like denying them primaries, like getting them no primaries. If Ryan could get like 15 points the first couple of turns, he could essentially steal this game away. Now, Jayson could kind of respond because he has easier secondaries to score than Ryan, so he does not have to necessarily win on the primaries early, or even win on the primaries at all. That Abhor the Witch will really hurt Ryan in the end here.
Definitely.
So that's something to consider with both of them.
Yeah, still having a little bit of technical difficulty with the drawing app, but...
okay. We'll shore that up later.
Yeah. Yep, some of the things we should have tested this morning, but it was definitely a pretty quick turnaround for us because the store opened here at 10 a.m. and then we tried to get everyone registered.
Yeah, we were getting everything set up last night, but all this stuff does take time.
Alright. Also, just want to give another thanks to T. Cody. Thanks for the follow. Hope to see you here more often in the stream. Because one of the things we're planning on doing with this stream is we definitely want to do the tournament coverage here in our local Reno, Nevada area. But another thing that we want to do is eventually start doing more like competitive battle reports for our at-home streams as well, so that we could really spend the time and like explain the decisions that we're doing for our armies themselves. So it doesn't, we'll probably try to do a variation of it. We're still like very much in the conception of that, but it's just one of the things that we just really want to try to expand our stream ability of Warhammer 40k and just trying to get the hobby out there. All right, let's take a look. Listening to the players, see if we can figure out what's going on here.
Looks like we're in the charge phase.
Yeah, it looks like
We're trying to
Jason's
catch
doing
up here. So
Yeah, Jason's doing an Overwatch right now.
I think you guys on the stream are keeping better track of the game at this moment than we are because we're just kind of babbling at this point. But looks like Ryan did his psychic phase. We kind of missed it with all our pre-tournament, all of our introductions and all that. So looks like Ryan did charge at the bottom. Ryan did also charge those. What are those?
So it seems like those are his immortals.
Immortals?
Yeah, and also, so one of the things one of the plays I really like that Jayson did is he bubble wrapped his Silent King with those immortals.
Yeah, so that way the demon the greater demon won't just like chew through two men.
Yeah, and here's the other
turn.
really cool thing that you can do with the Silent King, because the Silent King, he gets reroll all hits to all shooting attacks, which includes Overwatch. It makes it so that if you're charging into anything near the Silent King, you're going to be getting a lot of hits in Overwatch.
Yeah. Looks like Jayson already did his Overwatch attacks.
Yep. Looks like we're into the Ryan is now attacking with his keeper.
Yep. So, hold on a second.
All right, cool. Trainer's going to take a step
For
away.
pointer, we'll give you guys the play.
Yeah, I'll give you the entertainment. All right. So it looks like he's attacking in right now. We'll see how many Necron Immortals he actually kills here. Because one of the nice things about Necrons is they got those things called the reanimation protocols, and it makes them very hard to take off the table. Like, I know at least in my past few games that I've had, trying to like take 20 warriors off the table, it basically takes an entire army of shooting. And if you get like all the buffs on them, like the 5-up invuln, and if you just leave one of them alive, Jayson, he does have the relic reanimation orb, which means a lot of those dudes are going to be coming back. It may not be a very fun time for him. Let's see how everyone's doing in chat. I'm just trying to keep up to date on there, see what's going on. Looks like we got a few of you here. Also, very glad to have you all here. If you have any troubles with the stream, I mean, for me, this is the first time I've ever done streaming myself, so yeah, just be sure to let us know in the chat, like, if there's any technical problems or anything. I'll try to fix it up once we get a trainer back here so that I don't have to only focus on talking in the stream, so I can do some of the back-end stuff. Cool. So speaking of the chat, how's everyone doing today? No, it's depending on where you live, it may be early morning, late night if you're some of the European folks maybe taking a look in. Yeah. Okay, Skull, yeah. So, yeah, we're definitely sorry you couldn't be here too, but hopefully for some of the next tournaments you'd be able to make it in with us. Definitely miss you today. Actually, one of the things I don't think we discussed on the stream is
I'm back.
yeah. Welcome back, trainer.
So there was a question. Sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
There was a question on whether or not Mortarion could jump over a ruin to charge a unit in the charge phase, but they removed fly keyword only works really how you think it does in the movement phase. And in the charge phase, you can only fly over intervening models. So most of the time that does not matter because usually we're charging with infantry with fly through like ruins and stuff like Celestine or Inceptors or something like that. So Mortarion actually has to go around ruins. So that's actually kind of rough for him because he has to go around these L's in the middle that we have on every table here. So All right, what were you gonna say?
Yeah. Oh well, just to add on to that too. So to clarify that a bit more, so the reason why Mortarion can't go through those walls is because those ruins that, like for example, if you look at the ones in the middle of the table here, those have the breachable keyword, which means that if you're infantry, beast, or chariot,
Swarms.
yeah, that's what
They
it is.
can move through the walls, even though they can't. You know, you can just move your base through them. So, fly keyword in the charge phase does not let you ignore that, because fly keyword does not let you ignore terrain. It only allows you to ignore intervening models. Now, if you had the infantry keyword, you could still move through them, because the infantry keyword is still the infantry keyword in the charge phase.
Exactly.
Fly is just a little different. So that was the question I just got asked.
Yeah.
So, what other armies are here today?
We've got a pretty wide range of things
Very
here.
diverse
I'm
field
actually
here today.
surprised at the. I don't think there's that much Space Marine showing up here, which is a little surprising for me.
Yeah.
I think we have maybe 3 or 4 Space Marine armies. I know we've
We have
got
17 players. I know Steven's playing Space Marines. Perut's playing Space Marines. Travis is playing Space Marines. Todd's playing Space Marines. That's 4.
yeah, and also Joe is playing Death Watch, I believe, which is a variation.
5. And John's playing Space Marines.
Okay, so
it's actually
I'll
almost half of our
Yeah.
field today. Space
All right, so
Marines.
I'll step back on that one and say
just
we
walk
actually
that
do
one
have
back.
quite a few Space
Yeah, we
Marines
do.
here. Yeah, I didn't get too much of a chance to take a look at everyone that showed up because we didn't get lists uploaded until just today.
Yeah.
So we didn't really know what's going on with the
It
factions.
looks like we've got, and of the Astartes that we have 2 Dark Angels, we have 1 White Scar, we have, I think, at least 1 Space Wolf.
Yep, Zach Bacchus.
Yeah, he's got a Space Wolf. We got a Death Watch. So it looks like the Dark Angels are the most popular one
Yeah,
today,
between
which is,
Todd and Steve.
yeah, which is surprising considering they don't have a codex, but that inner circle keyword is just really strong.
Yeah, and also for anyone who's watching the stream, if you want to keep up to date with the matchups and how the standings and games end and everything, if you search for Game Castle Inaugural RTT in the Best Coast Pairing app, you can take a look at everything.
Yeah, all the pairings and everything like that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, everything's
Yeah.
going good.
Yeah.
Did you talk to Jeff about?
Cool. Let's see. It looks like they're getting close to the end of the first turn. Once we see them update their scoreboards, we'll go ahead and update it on the stream here and
Yep.
show you guys what's going on. Looks like we're in the morale phase right now. So we're getting close to the end of turn 1. Or end of, yeah, player turn 1.
There's a 1 on that morale. 1's an auto pass for morale. So we're reaching the end of Ryan's turn. Looks like he did some major damage to those immortals at the bottom. Doesn't look like he did too much to the ones near the top. How many immortals were there, Ted?
Yeah, he had 2 squads of 10.
Oh, up top there? Or no, he has 2 squads of 10 total.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go take a look.
Yeah, sorry, it's a little jarring for us just because there's a little bit of mirroring on the table itself. So when we say the top, we actually mean the bottom of the screen. Alright. Hey Mason, thanks a lot for sharing the event. Yeah, sharing the Twitch streams.
So it looks like Ryan got 3 engaging all front points.
Alright.
Up top, those are actually warriors up top. Where that other keeper is, in the top left quadrant, those are warriors. And it looks like there's only 7 of those left. So I guess he killed. How many did he start with? I think 18, 17, somewhere.
16 warriors.
60 warriors. So he killed a good number of them. And at the bottom, those are immortals, and I think there's 3 left. So he killed 7 immortals at the bottom.
Yeah, and, well, with killing 7 immortals, that probably means he killed around 10 plus, and then a bunch of them reanimated.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, because that's pretty rough with trying to kill.
I heard
anything.
Jayson say I lost 7, so it might have had something to do with
Yeah,
morale
because
or something too, because you can't reanimate morale.
All right, and then
So it'll be really interesting how Jayson responds to this, because he's got 2 Keeper of Secrets in his face. Now, it's not the end of the world, because Jayson's screen units took most of the hit here.
yeah, just pulling up the scoreboard here.
Looks like Jayson's actually reanimating right now.
Yeah, so actually that's because he did bring the relic reanimation orb.
Oh, I see.
So he's probably going to be bringing back some of those warriors right now.
That's just what's so strong about the new Necrons, is that they are just so tough to... Their screens are just so good. They're not like AdMech screens that can run away when they get charged, but their screens are just like Their screens are killy, and their screens are actually kind of hard to kill too, with all the reanimation and stuff.
Yeah, one of the things that Jayson didn't bring is he didn't bring any... Well, he brought one 60-man squad of the warriors, but at least in a lot of the other lists that I've been seeing, it seems like there's been at least one block of big 20 warriors, usually paired up with like a chronomancer to give them the 5 invuln save.
Looks like the Nightbringer's moving out,
Yeah.
along with some Scarabs.
Yeah.
So the Nightbringer, I think, he's probably going to go try and clear that objective. So
Oh, yeah.
Nurglings actually aren't very great against the
Oh,
Nightbringer,
no,
because
yeah,
they have
because-
no invul, no feel, no pain. Like,
Yeah, so, well, actually, the thing with the Nightbringer is he has to use his big swing attack to ignore invulnerable saves. But there's also a stratagem that Catan can use for 1 CP to make it so that his little 1 damage swings, which also ignore the feel no pains with the Nurglings, gets rid of them. So, I mean, there's a pretty good chance that he's just going to wipe those out either way.
maybe at least the 5. I don't know if he's going to get the other one. So
Yeah, because, I mean, 5 Nurglings, that's still 20 wounds you got to go through.
So this is pretty tough for Jayson, because this is just what Ryan's list does, is that it shoves big things in your face while holding everything with Nurglings and everything like that. And it looks like Ryan still has plenty of reserves left, because he's got 2 more Keepers after this, plus the big chicken.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like we're going to have a little face-off at the top of the screen here between the Nightbringer and the big chicken. And I think that's another... That's not Shalaxi at the top. Looks like Shalaxi actually moved in. Which one's Shalaxi? That's probably that one, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Bottom left of the screen. We're looking at hair here to determine it. And I know Shalaxi's not one of the creature caster ones, so...
Yeah, it's pretty easy to tell with that glowing green hair in the bottom left there.
So I'm pretty sure that Ryan's going to get 15 points on his next turn. I don't think there's much that Jayson could do to stop that.
Yeah, like, I don't think that Nightbringer is going to kill, like, that many...
He'll kill the first
Nurglings.
5, but he
but
probably
then-
won't kill the next 5.
Yeah, he'll still have objective
And
secure
he'll have
on that
objective
objective.
secure, yeah. Unless he could shoot away those ones in the back, but it doesn't look like he really can, because all of his shooting looks like it's concentrated on the bottom left of the screen, where the Silent King is, and you can't shoot through those L's in the middle, so... But it looks like Jayson might be trying to take the one at the bottom there.
Yeah, but, I mean, that's...
He's got Praetorians moving underneath there.
Yeah, the Praetorians, they're pretty good in combat. They got the 2 damage weapons. That's pretty efficient.
Pretty good
versus-
against Nurglings, yeah. No feel, no pain allowed.
Yeah, but then the problem is still, like, the weight of attacks, just because they're still going to have their 5-up invulns, and depending on how those dice roll, it could swing one way or the other. Another question that we got in chat is, why is Trainer not playing? Well, that's because we follow the ITC Code of Conduct, and tournament organizers should not be playing in their own tournaments.
Believe me, I wish I could.
Yeah, same with me, but, like, definitely I really want to get
You want to
this
run this stream, right? So
Yeah.
We can't. The stream won't run itself. We could have just had an open camera on this table and just had you guys all figure it out yourselves, but
Yeah, but we're here to help you.
it's hard enough following 40K streams, because I mean I used to play Pokemon TCG a lot, and those games are even easier to follow than this, because cards are just smaller, you know, and you can just tell what's being played amongst players. But with this, it's like we're looking at this stream right now to be able to determine how, like, where everything is on the stream, and we can't always even tell, like, what is what, because everybody has different ways that everything's modeled and everything like that. We have to kind of peek over our monitors here sometimes and take a look at what's happening. So we're going to try to give you guys the best idea of what's going on, and then also the insight of the players is really important too. So it looks like Jayson's kind of swinging around down here at the bottom. Looks like the Silent King. I'm gonna guess that Jayson's gonna charge backwards to Shalaxi there and kill her with the Silent King. I think that's what he's hoping to do. So what's very important when you play a castle army that's kind of slow, like Necrons are, because they move about as slow as their warriors could walk, is that when you get pinned in like this, you still have to be able to push out. So like being able to respond to these like monsters or threat, like just the turn one like smash your face in kind of list, is that you have to be able to respond to those while still playing the mission. You know, like you definitely don't want to be hemmed in by those things. So looks like Jayson's doing a pretty good job of that. He's pushing at the bottom still, just walking right past those keepers. I don't think that he's going to be able to do much to kill the top one. So it looks like he's going to have a decision here. The Nightbringers is either going to go charge those Nurglings on the objective or charge back and try and kill that keeper up there. I think I know what I mean. I think that he should charge that down into that keeper and kill it, the Nightbringer, because I don't think he could really afford to leave that keeper alive. And also, if he charges those Nurglings and kills 5 of them, it doesn't actually get him anywhere as far as the primaries go. Ryan's still going to hold that. So, I didn't even notice the Screamers up top.
Oh yeah, he's got them on the bottom too.
Oh,
Yeah, he's got him on both
attack
ends.
here. So
Yeah, it looks like that's going to be his second line for his engage on all fronts, because that's one of the really good things about the keepers. I think they have a base 14-inch move, which is insanely fast.
plus, I think they could advance and charge too
I don't think they could do that.
with the Locust.
Not the Screamers.
Oh, you're talking about I was talking about the keepers. Sorry.
Oh yeah, keepers. Oh yeah, they're definitely good at that.
Yeah. So Jayson looks like he's going to be pushing hard at the bottom. So since this is a 4 objective scenario, and it's a hold 1, hold 2, hold 3, so it's hold 1 for 5, hold 2 for 10. Jayson really needs to push off that bottom objective. He needs to kill all those Nurglings so that way he can actually hold that objective, so he doesn't get too far behind. Because if Ryan holds that bottom objective, Ryan's going to score 15 on his next turn, and Jason's only going to score 5.
Yeah, that's going to be.
So that's a huge swing.
Yeah, one thing I want to bring up, I just want to say thank you, Ron, for tipping the first $1 to the stream.
Yeah, our first.
I know it isn't a real dollar, but I'll print out a fake dollar bill. I'll make sure that the FBI doesn't see it or anything like that, because I'm pretty sure that's illegal. I'm going to put it up on my wall just for you, Ron.
Cool. Yeah, thanks, Ron. Sorry you couldn't be here today, Ron.
Yeah, but hey, I'm glad you're here to chill with us on the stream. Let's see.
Some stratagems going around here. Some cards being exchanged on the table.
He's pulling out his trap card,
Yeah.
which I know Necron's got a few of those. Because I know one of the ones that, just because there hasn't been that many games with that new Necron Codex, so not everyone's super familiar of it,
Yeah.
but like the Silent King, like, you would think he's a Titanic model, so that he would have the more expensive versions of the stratagems in the new codex, but he actually does not have the Titanic keyword, so there's a lot of really strong things you could do with that.
He's also under 18 wounds.
Yeah,
but
so-
he still functionally has 26 wounds because
28
those
wounds.
menhirs 28.
Yeah, because he... Oh, no,
Each menhir
oh,
is
no,
5,
he has,
right?
Oh, no, he has 16 wounds, because that's how he's able to hide behind the
Yeah,
walls.
he has 16 wounds, so he can't be seen behind walls, and the menhirs with him are 5 wounds each. And the menhirs are essentially extra wounds in every aspect, because they take the wounds first before him. Even if he's getting hit by a, like a smite or something, or I guess, yeah, it's all one unit, so
Yeah.
you could... The menhirs always take the wounds first, essentially.
Yeah.
That's just bottom line. So he functionally has 26 wounds. He literally only has 16, so he could hide behind obstructions and stuff like that, even though he's a massive model. So that'll protect him from getting shot off the table turn 1.
Yeah.
It's very different than Mortarion or somebody, because Mortarion has 18 wounds, so he can be seen
and
through obstructions.
Yeah, and his wings are like so high up in the air that like, unless you have like literally like a massive block of like ruin, which in all these tables we don't have that here. There's no
Yeah.
way you could hide them. So I know a lot of players have either been like putting him way on the back line, just hoping to be out of range depending on
Yeah.
the army, or even putting him in reserve, which, I mean, if it works, it works. One other thing I wanted to bring up while we're still talking about the Silent King 2 is the 2 stratagems I were talking about that are super strong with him. The first one, I guess I did mention it earlier with the Code of Combat, is you could spend 1 CP to automatically explode with the Silent King. So that's could be pretty game changing. Because yeah, I mean like D6 wounds, if you're like do that like towards the end of the game, because that's usually around when the Silent King's gonna be dying, and there's like a whole bunch of like 2 or 3 man units around him, you could just like max out your Code of Combat right there. the other super strong thing that you could do with the Silent King is there's another 1 CP strat, because he's not Titanic, to where he could be treated as being on the his top bracket, even though he has like 1 remaining, which is super strong, because then he gets back all of his abilities. He could fire with all of his weapons that normally degrade.
We would be talking here for a good 10-20 minutes if we talked about all of Silent King's abilities, because his abilities span 2 pages. But the big one to I think the biggest ability that he has is if you're in his engagement range, you fight last.
Ooh.
So if you charge him, he's going to swing first before you get to swing at him. Does that work off the menhirs too?
No, it doesn't. So that's actually one of the tricks that some players have been learning is if you charge the Silent King, you want to try to only engage the menhirs so that you don't get hit by that fight last aura. And I've seen some guys on streams and some of the more competitive battle raps online doing that. So one of the things, at least because myself, I'm a pretty avid Necron player right now, usually when I'm bringing the Silent King up the table, I try to trail back my menhirs as far as possible, so that if you want to
really
charge me and then not get hit by that aura, you have to go all the way around me.
Yeah. Which is pretty hard to do, especially since... Can he heroically intervene?
He can heroically intervene if he's
If
not
his
in
unit's
engagement
charged?
range. Well, no,
Well,
so
he himself, though, right?
no. So it's from the wording of heroic intervention. This is one of the things I've looked into to try to be a cheeky player. Is if your unit is in engagement
inch,
range, then
yeah.
you cannot heroically intervene.
Because otherwise, I'd say if I'm gonna try to just charge your men here, you could just heroically intervene the Silent King 3 inches to get within an inch to make me fight last. But you see, that's another thing too that you have to always have to consider is heroic intervention on models. So, like if let's say Ryan charges at the bottom here and charges those Praetorians and tries to not charge the Silent King, that Silent King could move 3 inches and heroically intervene. This is assuming the Silent King doesn't move, which I think he's going to move, of course, but he could heroically intervene, and all of a sudden now that Keeper is fighting last against those Praetorians. I don't know how that works with the Slaanesh fight first ability. Doesn't the Silent King's... He says you're not eligible to fight.
Yes, you're not eligible. So that's also.
I think it beats it, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it does, because I mean the other thing about being not eligible to fight until after every model is fight, that also means that you can't spend the 2 CP to interrupt combat, which is another super strong thing that the Silent King
You are not
brings.
eligible to fight, and the counterattack stratagem says pick a unit that is eligible to fight. So that's what's different between that and I guess the Vexator Mask. I wonder if they fixed Belt of Rust to be not eligible to fight too.
I haven't been keeping up
I
with
looked at the
Space
Space
Wolves.
Wolf Codex, but
Yeah. All right. So we got another pretty good question. Do you feel that the Silent King can take a keeper 1v1? So
take the Keeper.
yeah.
1v1?
So
Oh yeah.
my question
Oh, yeah.
is going to be definitely a yes, because the Silent King, if I remember correctly, he has at top bracket he has 6 attacks coming from the Silent King himself that are Strength 8 minus 3 or 4 flat 2 damage. He's got 3 or 4 more attacks that are Strength 9 minus a million flat 3 damage, and then I believe 3 more 1 damage attacks.
Yeah.
Which I think I feel like that
Does
question
he
sort
reroll
of,
wounds too? On himself?
not for himself, because
okay.
his auras only affect core and
not core characters.
Triarch which is another synergy that we have in Jayson's list here.
Yeah.
But because the Silent King, well, I guess there's a lot of variation to how this could
There always
turn out.
is with demons because they have invulns. So
Yeah, well, also it depends on. So I'm fairly certain, because Ryan started off with 5 CP, that he made every single large demon on his table an exalted. So that means that they either have 1 chosen trait or they have 2 randomly rolled traits. I know that at least one of the keepers, I'm not exactly sure which one it is, he always chooses the 4-up emblem, just because that's just super strong to have on something that's going to be up in your face. And I believe for the rest of the keepers, he rolled randomly for those. So if that's something that we could try to figure out, we'll let you guys know.
take a look at those wounds. The bottom keeper in the bottom left quadrant has 2 wounds taken. So it's got, I think, 14 wounds left, because I think they have 16 wounds.
Yeah, they're 16 because it could be obscured.
Now, keepers aren't too defensive. They're T7 with a 5-up invul, which is not very great. I think that, sure, if Ryan spikes his invuls, he can make it.
Yeah.
But
Well, so the keepers, they do have some. Well, depending on, I don't know if that's the keeper that he chose for his 4-up invuln, or if it's the one with random rolled trades.
Oh yeah, he could warp surge one of them too.
Yeah, he could do that, and then also I believe one of the random exalted traits that he could have got was minus.
Looks like we're in
wound.
Jayson's charge phase, so he did charge backwards to that keeper.
Yeah.
Looks like we're about to see that 1v1 that
Yeah.
we mentioned. So
Yeah, we'll
I
let
think
you know how
Jason's
it goes.
fighting now. Or maybe he's starting with the Nightbringer, because actually I would start with the Nightbringer too, because Ryan can't fight with the
Yeah,
he
so
can't
there's-
interrupt.
Yeah,
so
so there's no point of choosing the Silent King first because he's always going to be able to fight before the keeper.
I think I would have probably charged those warriors into, because they get just a bunch of attacks with reroll wounds from the Silent King, and really you just need chip damage to really hurt keepers because they just have a 5-up invul. So I think they have a 4-up armor actually,
They might. I'd have
but
to
still
take
that's
another
like 3 or 4. That's like 5 or 6 wounds that'll probably go through. That might mean the difference between killing him or not killing him.
Yep.
Now, if this keeper lives, it's probably going to do quite a bit of damage back to the
Oh
Silent
yeah,
King.
absolutely. Even at
Probably
like
kill a
graded-
minion or two, yeah. Keepers are just so killy. They're so good right now. I almost think they're undercosted.
Yeah.
How good they are.
So another question we got from Dutes90. So all of the lists are in BCP right now. If you search for Game Castle, it should be the only event that is on the BCP app right now. If I remember, yeah. So this isn't a sponsored BCP event. So the only way that you could view the list right now is if you actually have a BCP membership.
If you want to ask about any specific list,
Yeah, feel free
wonder
to
if
let
we could drop it in the chat.
if I
the
could,
two lists.
if you
I could send them
if
to
you
you.
give me a text file, I'll put it in the chat for you.
Yes, I will.
But yeah, so if there's any like specific questions about the armies, or even if you just want us to do a quick run
Jason's
through,
list is really weird though.
yeah, his list, I think it might
I think
have
it
been.
copied twice or something.
Yeah, I think it did because he has 2 battalion
He
detachments.
also has 2 Nightbringers.
Yeah, which that would be illegal.
That's illegal.
Surprise Pikachu face.
I'll copy the first one.
Yeah, if you just send
I'll drop it. I'll send it to you through a private message.
Yeah, that works.
And then you could drop it in the chat. We'll get the camera on both of us eventually here, but
Yeah.
there's 2 of us here, sitting side by side with 3 monitors.
Yeah, so actually, Ron, thanks a lot for the help sending us a screenshot of the armor of rust that we were talking about earlier. So it does have.
Ron's
the
on
wording-
point today.
Yeah, dude, Ron, you're killing it
Ron's
today.
the MVP.
So he did. So the wording for that is that the enemies that are within engagement range of the armor of Russ is not eligible to fight until the end after all.
It's really strong.
Yeah. So yeah, that rewording, yeah, is just. I feel like that's way better than the not treated as charging that some of the other things have. Like I
Yeah,
know the,
or I have to fight last or
Yes.
something like that until all other eligible units have fought. Ruling them ineligible is different. That is very different. I mean, I was already thinking of that. I'm a Sisters player primarily. I was already thinking of adding some Space Wolves to my Sisters list because Ragnar is pretty good, but you could also just add a jump captain with Armor of Rust, and like, I mean, shoot, I think you could also get like a 6-inch rogue interventions with Space Wolves too and stuff like that. I think they could do some cool stuff like that. So having them back up my Sisters, pretty strong.
I could definitely agree.
Most armies right now look like they're more. I'm not really seeing too many gun lines today. I know Forrest is bringing one because he's got like a shitload of tanks, but most gun lines are kind of gone from the game right now. Most of the game just seems to be more of a close combat and close range shooting, like brawl right now.
Yeah.
And I think that's one good thing about 9th edition is that everything being so objective based means that these close combat armies are really the way to go.
Yeah, because I mean, the difference between close combat and shooting is that if you're in close combat with someone, you also have the board control.
Yeah,
And
you also you'll clear them off that objective. Now you're standing on it.
Yeah, if you clear them off the objective, and also if you have, well, like let's say like right now, if you're a gunline army, if you don't
Looks
have
like a
any,
keeper fell at the top.
ooh yeah, look at that.
The Nightbringer killed that one.
Yep, I do see. Actually, it was Salaxi. I could see the spear from here.
Oh, so the top one is Shalaxi?
Yeah.
I don't know what Shalaxi is compared to everyone else.
Yeah,
but
I just remember she's the one with the spear, and the one with I guess you could call it like the
What is this
the
swinging
carrot
right
top
now?
hair. but green.
Is that the Silent King swinging? Or are those Praetorians swinging?
With
I think
that
those are
number of
Praetorians.
attacks, yeah, that
Probably
has to be Praetorians.
Yeah, at the bottom there. See if he can clear out these Nurglings, which I think he should be able to.
Yeah, we'll see how many he picks up there.
Maybe he won't get so many 5-up invulns. 16 wounds on those bottom Nurglings.
Yeah,
That should kill them on
yeah, I
average.
feel like that should, because that's going to be, even if you warp surge them, there's going to be over half of those, so 8 going
Not
through,
really
2
worth-
damage each.
Yeah. Do Shreya Praetorians have OPSEC?
No, they do not. They are a fast attack choice, and they can't get any fast or objective secured. All right, so it looks like he's Ryan right now is going to be rolling the save for that, picking up an entire fistful of dice. We'll see how he does.
Now, just remember, Nurglings do not get feel no pains against these because these are 2 damage each.
Yes, exactly, because they only ever eligible for their disgustingly resilient-esque rule if it's damage 1. Yep. We're doing some live coverage, seeing what's going on there. So all those 2 that he's putting there are Nurglings dead. So, yep, squad wiped.
He made a lot of 5-up invulns.
Oh, yeah,
I just
but-
glanced over there and I'm like, holy
Yeah.
crap, that's like...
There goes
It
one
still doesn't
movement
matter.
tray.
So, fortunately for Ryan, he still has objective secured on that bottom objective.
Oh yeah, because he wasn't able to get to that second layer of those
Nurglings, yeah.
So yeah, he's still gonna
Man,
hold
that
it.
is... Objective secured is such a... I mean, in 8th edition, it was pretty nice, but now in 9th edition, it's like... You build whole armies around it right now.
Yeah.
So those Praetorians, they killed some Nurglings. Which is kind of, I guess...
Yeah.
Well, your prize for killing those Nurglings is now there's a Keeper of Secrets back there, so...
Yeah. Here, I'll let Trainer read your compliment, Mason.
I don't know about that. Definitely more like the Rock with like 200 more pounds on him or something.
Pure muscle.
Yeah, 100. I'm pure 100% muscle. Maybe if the Rock was like 25% body fat, maybe. Oh man.
Yeah.
Mason,
so,
you had a really jank list. I was really kind of excited to see it being played today.
yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen 10 Assault Intercessors in a squad except for the last time we played the barbecue. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I was just gonna bring it up too, because if I remember right, when I saw that list, you had like a whole bunch of intercessors in there too. Which
Yeah.
I mean, intercessors like, yeah, I feel like they're still pretty good because like they don't effectively require the rights
They're
of
okay.
war.
It's just the Space Marine like elites are just so good right now. It's like most people just take intercessors because they have to, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, but I don't
weird
know.
seeing
I
a
mean,
list
it's something
based
where,
around them,
yeah, at least for me, I haven't played it, so like, yeah, I could still see it doing like pretty good though.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's still Space Marines.
After all, yeah.
Yep, still White Scars. Still punching people with your 2 damage fists.
2 damage chains, AP 2 damage chain swords
Yeah,
too on
those
those Assault
are-
Intercessors,
those are-
and they could double fight.
Yeah,
So
that's
pretty
crazy because
strong.
that's like the Teeth of Terra, like on a Space Marine Sergeant.
Mm-hmm. I think he's swinging with the Silent King right now. Looks like he's done. The Keeper lives.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got the Menhirs. They're gonna try and
Oh, yeah.
bonk.
Yeah.
They're gonna bonk the Keeper of Secrets.
Yeah, we're just listening into the game right now, just so we can try to give you guys a little bit more insight. I'm pretty sure I've had to
He's
play
done
around.
fighting.
Yeah, I've had to play around with the sound settings, so you probably can hear like the faintest amount of the players in the background.
Yeah, there's a bunch of other
Yeah,
players
I know.
around
Like
here.
for future streams, one of the things I want to try to figure out is getting the wireless lavalier mics on the players, so that at some points during the game we could like listen into the actual insight from the players themselves. But right now, at least, I did buy some lavalier mics. They're not the best quality though. They've got a pretty eerie noise to them, so wouldn't want to subject you guys to that. Yeah, looks like Mason was saying, I really wanted to try that list, but hope you to make it down there soon. See you then, guys. Yeah, hope to see you next time too, Mason.
Yeah, so we are in a very... So some of you folks, if you don't know where Reno is like right, if you look at Nevada, Everybody thinks we're close to Vegas. We're not.
It's an 8-hour drive.
Reno is, if you look at Vegas, or if you look at Nevada, and you look down, like if you look at our symbol on the objective markers, or on the top, where the sponsors are, where the corner is, where it starts to slant. We are just a little bit above that corner on the left side there. So right where the N is, like at the bottom left of that N on the nut logo, is where we are. So Carson City's a little south of us, but Reno, we're right on the border with California. And we have some really good friends up in the Northern California in the Redding area. We wanted to try and get the word out to the Sacramento folks a little better, but I guess I probably should have tried to hit them up more, but we filled up so fast here that I don't know if we even could have really got any of them.
Yeah,
in.
there's definitely a vacuum of competitive 40K. That
We had
people wanna
more.
be playing.
Our initial opening was 18, and I think we filled that up in 3 days. So we're definitely a very popular 40K scene here. We've got how many players do we have from Reading?
I think 4 or 5 actually.
Yeah, so we're definitely our own meta and everything like that, but we have a lot of folks coming in from California as well. So I'd say we're probably in the Northern California area.
Yeah,
I think that's where we would be. We'd be in that sphere of influence. So Bay Area, Sacramento, Redding, Reno, of course. We have a few players from Carson City too, but they didn't show up here today. So we're Nevada Ultimate Tabletop. So our team is the Nevada side, pretty much strictly Northern Nevada, Reno, Fernley, Fallon, stuff like that. We have some of the guys from Matrix here, which Mason's part of. I know John's here.
Yeah.
I don't actually know too many of these folks here.
Yeah,
very
at least
well.
from
Zach Bacchus is
the
here.
last tournament that we had with them was the Tahoe Ground GT.
It went really well.
Yeah.
We took there's also the ISC guys here too, there's 3 of them here, which is the whole team. They're like a smaller Reno team. And I know Todd Swenson, he's one of the players to look out for today. He'll probably be on stream at some point. He's probably one of the better players in our area. He got first at the Tahoe Crown. I got second. And then Forrest, I think, got third. And he's also an ISC guy. So we definitely showed up there. I think most of the Reno folks did really well.
Yeah, we were all in the
Top 10 or whatever.
Yeah, within the top 10.
Yeah. So we have 2, I guess, different areas clashing today. And I guess we'll see how everything goes between us, the Reno folks, and the Northern California folks here. The Redding folks in particular. Because I don't think Sacramento or Bay Area folks really showed up today. And I don't think I really could have got them in today either. So
yeah. Also,
see in the future.
last night here in Reno, there was a bit of snow in the pass too.
Yeah.
So anyone coming over Highway 80.
There's
would've been
also a
rough
mountain.
time.
There's also like a bunch of mountains blocking us off from the Redding folks. So they actually drove about 3 hours to get here. And I don't know when they woke up this morning.
Yeah, well, at least for them, because they're from the Reading area, they actually came from the north side, so they didn't have to go through any of the mountains.
They didn't have to go through I-80.
Yeah, and they said the roads were fine this morning.
I might have tried to. Reno's a pretty nice place to stay the night if you ever come by, because there's all the casinos and everything.
Yeah, no,
so.
like the casinos, there's definitely a lot of incentive, the casinos are having for coming to Reno.
Speaking of which, I think I'm at liberty to say that we can actually start promoting the RageCon GT that we're going to be hosting in June.
Yeah, that's actually Ron was asking about that in the chat. So yeah. So what we're planning on doing is here in Reno, Nevada, at the RageCon convention. Well, convention. That's
June 25th.
That's like ATM
through
machine.
the 27th. Yeah. We have a GT planned with 36 open slots as of right now. We'll see how COVID works. We're probably going to get more slots. The owner here at Game Castle is also the head organizer of RageCon, and he's given us pretty much our own room there and everything like that. So I'm assuming that the COVID restrictions will lighten up. As of right now, if the GT were happening today, we'd have 36 players. So we are opening signups to that very soon here. Probably I'm going to be posting the announcement today if any of you guys are here from the competitive 40K group or anything like that. If you're in the Northern California, Las Vegas, Reno, anywhere really on the West Coast, Washington, Oregon, we'd love to have you at the convention It's on June 26th through the 27th with 5-round GT at Circus in downtown Reno. So we also will have like hotel blocks open. So if you want to stay overnight, which you probably actually want to because it's a 2-day GT, you could actually get a hotel room, chill out in downtown Reno. It's like Vegas. It's definitely not the Strip, but there's all the casinos. It's a good time.
Yeah,
It's a
well,
nice
I mean,
area.
that's sort of like fits into the whole like motto of Reno, the biggest little city in the world.
Yes,
so
we
we're
are.
pretty much like a little Vegas. Now, one of the things I want to bring up is I did get updated scores from the players themselves. So Ryan did end up for his turn 2 primary.
Yeah, we
scoring
saw that
15.
coming. So Bore the Witch killed a keeper, right?
Yep.
Engage on all fronts. Jayson
Yeah, he sort of got
isn't on
boxed
that
in
side.
early.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is like I'm a Sisters player, so like my army walks and Jason's army walks. So I don't ever count on getting engaged on the first turn, unless like I don't know. It's like almost impossible for me to get engaged on the first turn because I have a 6-inch move really. So Jayson did not get engaged on the first turn. Code of Combat, he kind of whiffed against the Keeper of Secrets, who couldn't kill it. What else is interesting too is that now in the new, like, we used to play the ITC missions where you can't stack secondaries. In the GW way, Code of Combat and Abhor the Witch, you could score both of those off of one keeper kill if you kill it with the Silent King.
Yeah, it's one of the things where, like, definitely, like, when you're building a list with the 9th edition in mind, you want to, like, really try to make sure that you're limiting, like, double dipping on those types of secondaries. And that's one of the reasons why, right now, the Space Marines are so strong, because with the current secondaries that we have right now, there's just not any good secondaries to score against the Space Marines.
Yeah.
Because, yeah,
Most of them take heavy infantry and so.
yeah. Sorry about that. We had to talk with the Jeff, the store owner here, just trying to do some
Get our-
tournament organization and making sure we feed.
We get pizza, yeah.
Yeah, let's see. Where were we ending off on? Yeah, we're talking about Space Marines and just how strong
Yeah, I
they
mean,
are right
I
now.
think the Space Marines Oaths of Moment is just an auto take.
Yeah.
Like, you just play Space Marines and then you get that secondary, and as long as you're playing your Space Marines how they're supposed to be played, that's like at least 10 points right there. You just have to hold the middle, kill characters or vehicles, and not fall back or fail morale checks. Now, it's easier to fail morale checks with Space Marines now because they changed And They Shall Know No Fear. So that way it's not a reroll anymore. It's just that you don't suffer the -1 on combat attrition if you're under half, or at half or under. So it's definitely not as strong. Space Marines can fail morale checks. They sometimes they do have to fall back too. But I mean, holding the middle for 2 CPs or for 2 victory points. I mean, there's some secondaries where, like, even if you hold the middle, you don't even get that. So,
Yeah.
and it's at the end of your turn. It's not, or no, it's at the
Oh,
end
no,
of the battle round.
Battle round. So that's where going second as a Space Marine.
Yeah,
is
if you go
also
second,
pretty
you just
strong.
get it, you know. So, and you have to be wholly within 6 of the middle. But, and most Space Marine lists right now are usually just heavy infantry, so you can't really take secondaries against them either. Heavy infantry and some characters. Not a lot of them are bringing tanks and stuff like that, or even dreadnoughts aren't even that great to
Yeah,
take.
because like in previous editions, like 8th edition, when we're playing the ITC mission pack, we'd have things like gangbusters to be able to sort of deter that type of army build. But it's sort of the Wild West with thick Marines right now.
Yeah. So looks like Ryan's kind of completing his strategy of hemming Jayson in. Looks like those Nurglings move up to the top of the screen to kind of move block that area. They're probably gonna go fight some Scarabs. That'd be a pretty interesting battle, Nurglings versus Scarabs.
Yeah, I actually think the Scarabs would win that.
Probably.
Well, I mean, they're not going to kill each other, but the Scarabs will do a little bit more just because they have the auto woundings on 6s to hit.
So Ryan's also kind of swarming around with those Screamers too. Looks like Ryan's gonna be able to get those Screamers into combat up top. Now, he probably isn't gonna do much to the Nightbringer. The Nightbringer can only take, what, 3 wounds each turn? And
Yeah,
then he heals
per,
one?
per phase.
Yeah, so Ryan really needs to, like, charge the Nightbringer, do 3 wounds there, smite him, do 3 wounds there.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like Big Bird will be able to do that. I don't think Big Bird's going to be able to charge the Nightbringer. I also don't think that's a very good idea.
No, because he ignores those sweet 3-up invulns of
Yeah,
that Big Bird.
he does everything. Nightbringer just cancels everything that Big Bird... that makes Big Bird survivable, you know, so...
Yeah. Yeah, because he even negates if he took the if he chose the Exalted Lord of Change for 6-up ignore wounds, but then if you make a 6-up, you also regain a wound. Nightbringer just cancels that
Nightbringer's
out.
really good. He also heals himself, so
Yeah.
he has 9 wounds. You do 3 damage to him, and then he'll heal himself 1,
Yeah,
and then
1
he'll
per
do another
turn.
3. Then he'll heal
Yeah,
like.
so also another thing that's
you can't
pretty
just kill
good-
him in 3 phases.
Yeah, one of the Necrons protocols, which is sort of like the doctrines for the Space Marines. It's effectively, it's sort of like a very janky version of like doctrines.
Mm-hmm.
Before the game, you choose well, we'll just do the easy case without the Silent King. You choose 5 protocols.
And you have to go in that order,
Yeah,
right?
and you have to go in that order, but then within each protocol, there's 2 separate directives. So at the start of that battle round, you could choose which directive you're doing from there. And the reason why I wanted to bring that up is because one of the strong things you could do with the Nightbringer is one of the directives for, I forget exactly which protocol it is you actually heal 2 wounds at the start of your turn as opposed to 1. So that could, if you could like big brain it and like preemptively figure out when you think the Nightbringer is going to be lower on wounds, which is probably going to be like turn 2 or turn 3, depending on who you go against. He could just heal up those 2 wounds, and that could almost make it so that you would require a whole nother phase to
How
kill
many
him.
points is he? 400?
350.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how well that's going to go for Ryan up top. So, it looks... I mean, you can even look at this right here. Ryan's going to be sealing Jayson on that side of the table, and I think that Ryan's committing to holding those 2 objectives in at all costs.
Yeah, and some of the smart things you could see is like the Nurglings on the bottom side. They're holding that bottom objective, but they're also the only thing holding his bottom right engage on all fronts right now.
They're also in dense cover.
Yeah, which is really helps with their survivability because.
Now, I don't know why he moved that keeper in the middle down.
It's probably because he's
not really
running away from the
Yeah,
Nightbringer.
probably. I think that he really wants to try and get both Nightbringers into combat with the Praetorians. I think, or not Nightbringers, 2 Nightbringers. I think that it'd be nice if he could get both of the Keepers into combat with the Treyarchs so they're in better position next turn, because if that Keeper stays in the middle, that's Nightbringer food, if the Nightbringer wants to go there. I don't think that Ryan's going to be able to do much to kill the Nightbringer, because he's just going to heal so well. And he doesn't really have a shooting phase. Now, the Nightbringer's best... I mean, if you could shoot him, psychic him, and then charge him and do some wounds with like a unit that you don't mind losing, you know, then that'll be good.
Yeah,
you know,
so the only way I could see like a demon armies really be able to do that is if they could get some flamers in range.
Flamers, yeah.
Yeah, because you flame them, that's gonna like because you could use the flamer stratagem where every 6 to wound is a mortal wound. That's a like easy way to guarantee that you're taking
I
them
think
down 3 for that
if
phase.
you could get the Nightbringer, and if you could really mess them up one turn, like do like 6 wounds to him in one turn, and then then you could really kill his survivability next turn. So if you can't really like you can't really just do 3 damage to him every turn, because you'll have to deal with him for 4 turns.
Yeah, you really have to be doubling up the phases, which with some armies you could do, but thankfully with these demons you could at least do that with close combat and psychic.
Yeah, the only problem with close combat is you have to
you
get
have
in
to,
close combat with him.
You effectively have to sacrifice something to do that, which I mean, maybe the Screamers will be able to do that, because the Nightbringer, he does only have a 4-up invuln, so half the wounds he's taking, he's going to take, and you only have to get 3 through, and if I remember correctly, those Screamers are damage 2 as well.
Ryan got 15 on his turn, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so if Jayson can't boot Ryan off of the top objective or the bottom objective, which I think it's going to be pretty tough for him to do that. It doesn't matter how many Greater Demons Jayson kills. Ryan's going to win this game if he could get 30 primary points like that.
Yeah.
And then also he's getting engaged on all fronts this turn too, because he's got those Nurglings out from 6 inches from the middle and also in the top left quadrant. And same with those Screamers. As long as Ryan keeps this pressure up, like I don't know how Jayson could come back.
Yeah,
but
I mean, the
I
only
might
thing
be
is-
really. It's kind of early still, but
Yeah, it's still only battle round 2, but
did you
like
bump their CPs up too?
at this point I don't know what their CPs are.
Let me go get a CP update.
Okay, cool.
Ryan, how many CPs are you at?
4.
He's at 4. Jayson, what about you? How many CPs? 9. Okay.
Yeah, that's one of the nice things about the Silent King too. If we continue about the entire manifesto of rules that he has, he also gives your
Gives a
army.
shitload of
Yeah,
CPs.
so because you're taking the Supreme Command attachment, you automatically get refunded either a battalion or patrol that you're bringing.
Yeah, it's
so
really good.
you're starting at 12 there, but then on top of that, he just gives you 3 CP.
You need to stop making me want to play Necrons. Because that's what you're doing to me right now.
Yeah. Well, I heard Ryan's trying to sell an Indominus House of Necrons.
Yeah, I just hit him up for that, right?
Yeah.
Well, the other, I better, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. Had some non-stream discussions we had to make real
Yep.
quick. But yeah, so anyways, it looks like at this point we're still in the... I'll take a quick listen in here just to see where we're at. So he did pull a screamer, so actually it looks like that it might be the Necron's turn at this time. So I'm going to go see if I could get an update on the primaries real quick,
Okay.
which I believe is
I'll
going to be
keep you
fine.
guys. I'll keep you guys entertained. I think.
Oh, no, that was Overwatch he was doing. So it's still...
Yeah, Necron Overwatch is no joke. Don't you have a protocol that lets you Overwatch on
Yeah,
5s?
so yeah,
like you
one of the
set
protocols.
to defend?
Yeah, you could either set to defend or hold steady, which means you're either overwatching on 5s. If you're near the Silent King, you're also re-rolling that. And the hold steady is during that fight phase, you get +1 to attack. So at least with the Necrons, depending on what you're charging into, like if you're charging into like Warriors or Immortals that have already been My Will Be Done, you're already hitting on 2, so that isn't super helpful. But it's more for the things that you can't give that buff aura to, like the... Well, in this case, you can do it to the Praetorians because he does have the Silent King, but like other non-core Necron models. Yeah, so it looks like what we got here is the Screamers right now are just really pincering those Necrons in from the top and the bottom of that left-hand side. Alright, and looks like it is the start of the fight phase, and Ryan elected to choose the Keeper on the bottom side on that bottom objective fight.
Yeah, it looks like he's got that one still in the middle. I guess he could hold on to that as like, I guess like a reserve. One of the things I really try to stress is like, you want to make sure that you don't, in 9th edition, you don't push all your resources on turn 1, because if you do that, you know, you might not be able to kill enough of your opponent with all their screens and everything. So Ryan's like, I'm thinking that he's keeping that Keeper in the middle to kind of be his backup plan. Like he's thinking to turn 3 here, turn 4. If looks like those Praetorians are, yeah, oh yeah, that's a lot of them. So
That's
it's a good number of them. He can reanimate some of them, but
yeah. Oh, but he's that wasn't even his final attack with the Keeper. That was
he's
just
not
one
even
weapon.
done.
Yeah, but still, from here I can see there's about 3 of them left.
Yeah, this is
We'll see what's going
not
on
good
here.
for Jayson right now. But Ryan in the middle with that Keeper, he could hold on to that, and that's his insurance policy. Like if he needs to push up again, he can. That's sitting there, that's waiting.
Yeah.
I don't think Jayson could do much to that Keeper, so especially not with all the pressure in his face right now. So if the bottom half falls, you know, that Keeper could maybe even push into Jayson's deployment zone and threaten that back objective. Maybe he could use it to try and off the Silent King eventually. It's just kind of his insurance policy. I'm going to take a lap.
All right, sounds good. Yeah,
take a
just
look at everything.
walk around.
Yep. I'm going to go make sure all the other games are going well.
All right, awesome. So I'll stick around here with these guys.
You need anything here?
No, I'm good for now. Yeah.
So we'll send the arrow. Has 2 attacks at his current profile.
Yep, looks like now he's swinging with the Technomancer, which is actually it's on the bottom side where those screamers charged in. So you can see that little green blob right there. That is the Technomancer fighting back. Apparently he gave him a relic that lets him fight first. I believe that's one of the Zarkon specific relics, so I'm not super familiar with it. I'll probably bring that up later. But I'm not feeling too hot on that Technomancer right there, because I mean those screamers, they're, if I remember correctly, 2 or 3 attacks each. They are hitting on 4s, but they're strength 5 with -2 damage. So I'm thinking that Technomancer might be assassinated, which is some of those secondary points that Ryan really needs to help secure his lead. Favorite Necron strat from Ron? Let's see. One of the ones that I've actually been having a lot of fun with is for the Ophidian Destroyers. They're the new destroyer models that sort of have like the whole like whip coil body. They have one of their special strats, which for 1 CP, you could effectively deep strike that unit just as normal, like 9 inches away. So at least in my Necron armies, one of the things that I've been doing is I've just been taking a unit of one of those guys. Usually turn 1, I keep them hidden within obscuring ruins, so that I could do something like, usually I pick deploy scrambles with them. So they're effectively like my 100-point unit that I use for almost guaranteeing that I get deploy scramblers, because turn 1 you scramble in your own zone, turn 2 or even on, you could deploy with something else in the middle. Another thing I usually do with that is take a set of crypto thralls and pull them in from, put them into reserve so that they could always get the middle zone. And then I spend that 1 CP stratagem, that is probably one of my favorite Necron stratagems, of redeploying the Ophidian Destroyers so that I could get into the back line towards the end of the game when there's not that much left to screen off. So that just almost always gives me 10 points every single game that I play with him. Alright, looks like Ryan's going to be swinging back with those screamers on the bottom side. Dropping some dice. Probably hear that. But we will see how that goes. I'd say if I was a betting man, that Technomancer is not going to live. I think all that he really has is either, I think he has like maybe a 3-up armor, but he's got AP, but then a 4-up invuln to save him, so if math is correct, which sometimes is not always, at least when you're rolling dice, he should be gone. Yep, right now just taking a look around at all the tables right now, it looks like everyone's definitely very engaged in their game. Trainer's probably walking around just so he could try to get some insight on the other tables. And we will see what he gets back with us after his pilgrimage. Oh, look at that. He actually lived with 1 wound. That is not what I expected. And yeah, just to clarify, that was for the Technomancer I was talking about earlier, so... Huh. Sometimes the warp giveth and the warp taketh with your dice rolls.
-3. So
Alright, and once I figure out what's being rolled for here, I'll let you guys know. Oh, it looks like those were the other screamers going into the,
and I can reroll 1 die.
believe that was for another squad of Praetorians. Oh no, these are the warriors, because he's re-rolling 1s for those reanimations. So it looks like he killed 4 of those with 3 screamers, which that probably did a little bit more work than the screamers on the bottom side there.
Which one?
Yeah, those are. No, all my attacks.
So now Ryan, the demon player, is rolled 20 dice. So I'm gonna say, is that could be potentially the 5 Nurglings that are in combat with that Nightbringer, and the right above the left middle ruins. But we'll take a look at that. We'll see which models get pulled. Yep, definitely doing this whole live stream for the first time ever definitely gives me a lot more appreciation for the guys who do this for a living, like those either like on the FLG like big tournament streams, like for the LVO Bay Area Open. Rest in peace to both of those for this year. Yep. So now it's looks like it's going to be the Battle of the Ages, the Scarabs versus the Nurglings. So looking into this battle, I'd probably say that the Scarabs might end up doing a few more wounds and then to the Nurglings, and the Nurglings will do back to the Scarabs. But nice thing about the Scarabs too is if Jayson gets lucky, he could just, if he loses one of those Scarabs, he could just bring it on back with those good old reanimation protocols. The way that those work with the multi-wound models now is when you lose a model, you effectively gain that many dice from their wound characteristic into a dice pool, and then if you roll those dice and roll enough 5 pluses to equal to the wounds characteristic of that model that died, then you could actually just bring him back into the squad and act like nothing happened there. It's not treated towards morale. There's actually some pretty cool things you could do that with the Necrons right now. So one of the strats that I've been doing with the Necrons is if you end up like getting your warriors or like larger squads of units shot at, when you pull the models, usually what I try doing is pulling from the back of the squad, and then once they start reanimation, you're actually allowed to start moving them forward outside of your deployment zone, which is a super strong way of helping get extra board presence when you're reanimating those models. At least in this case, I can't quite see any places where that'd be super useful for the Necron player.
Had another interesting question. The Eldar spear that always wounds on a 2. I can't remember what it's called. A singing spear? No, it's not a singing spear.
Is it
It might be a singing
is it
spear.
a relic?
No,
Shiny?
no. The Wraith blades that Wraith lords or that Farseers have,
Oh yeah.
and the Warlocks have. They always win on a 2. How does that work against Inner Circle? I had to actually look at the rare rulings section, and it says that attacking model abilities always trump the defending model abilities. And since the Farseers swinging at the Inner Circle Terminators, I said that the 2-up would wound.
Yes, because yeah.
So it cancels. It negates the Inner Circle because it's the attacker model. That's such a weird. Yeah, that's such a weird interaction there.
Yeah, that reminds me of like some other like really weird interactions I've been seeing online lately. Like with the, I forget what they are. It's the sisters that have the like melta pistols.
Mm-hmm.
When they drop down from reserve, they get to potentially you can spend a CP to shoot with them.
Shoot them at 12
but
inches.
then
Yeah.
you have to see how that interacts with things like Auspex scans or like any of the shoot out of reserves. But if I remember correctly, when I was looking into that.
Yeah, who shoots first?
Yeah, for the sisters, it says as soon as you're
Placed,
you get to do that. And
so
then,
you can shoot at whatever's got Auspex scan you
Yeah.
first.
Yep. So yeah, it's one of those things you have to like really like.
I could be wrong too about all of this, about everything.
Yeah. Well,
but
I don't know. From the rear
I
ruling,
think I'm right about that.
Yeah.
so.
The Farseer spear that makes sense to me because yeah, I remember seeing that from the rare
Now,
rulings.
if he had transhuman though, that might have been different because transhuman's a stratagem, not an ability.
Yes.
I don't want to think about that. I'll worry about that later.
Yeah.
It'll keep me up at night. How many viewers do we have right now?
We got 7 whole people.
7 people. Nice.
Yep.
Oh, looks like Looks like the choo-choo trains have been knocked over,
Yeah,
pushed
they're,
around.
Yeah, seems to be the preferred dice rolling area. Yeah, you can just see it just slowly keeps getting pushed
Poor
over by
train.
those dice. Yeah, the train did nothing wrong. It just wanted to exist there. Yeah. Also, I thought it was kind of funny. Like, well, from what I've heard, like a lot of Warhammer players, like as they get older, they start transitioning like the Warhammer hobby to model trains. And at least for us, because we've already made these trains, I think
We're
already,
starting in reverse.
we're sort of like doing a premature transition to the train hobby. Because like I could see us in like 10 years just like making those like room
Get
filled
your phone
diamonds.
on that so I can do it, man.
Yeah.
We're gonna try and give you a different look, at least very briefly. We're gonna have to try and set up the software. We only have this one angle, like hard setup right now, but we can get Fork's phone on a gimbal here, and I could give you a little look at how everything looks right now. And
That doesn't affect me as a custodian. I don't get for anything.
Yep. Sorry, a little bit of technical difficulties. This is our first like real stream, so been having a lot of fun learning this software here. There we go. Let's get that camera set up. Alright. It's,
we live with this.
not yet. Yeah, also another thing too is I know at least with some of the streams. So here, we're going live. Yep, Ryan on the right, Jayson on the left.
I'm like tethered to the computer.
Yeah. You've got about a 15 feet of space. Ooh, there's like a super glare there. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so trainer, they actually can't hear you from there. It's gonna be very faint. But yes, I'll try to keep some commentary. Yeah, he is not close to the microphone right now. But you know what? We're doing our best. Yep, and here's a quick pan of all the other players, so you can see we definitely got a good amount of space in between each of the players. Yeah, it's definitely like trying to play. Hello there. Yep, you see we got a big old Space Marine in the background there. Figured it'd be a better backdrop than
This thing flipped the other way.
not easily.
Oh, okay.
So here, actually, what we
So
can
we
do.
have to do this.
Yep, we have to do this. Put it there. And check it out, it's us.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so you
Yep.
can see we're all masked up here, following all the COVID
COVID-19
precautions.
stuff.
Yeah.
Rather my Nebraska gear. No, I don't think they're doing too well right now. I don't know. They're playing Minnesota, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got. Everything's running really smoothly. Round one. I couldn't ask for better players.
Yep.
As
Yeah.
far as like how cool they are to each other and everything like that. No drama, no cheating, nothing like that yet, at least. But I don't think that we're gonna run into any of that today. Stream's going well. I got an awesome stream manager here.
Oh yeah, I'm doing all that I can.
Yep. And we'll be much better next stream and much better for the GT. This is essentially a practice. Not really like a practice per se, because we've already had a few practices, but this is essentially like step one, and then we'll eventually, when we get to the GT, start streaming that. We'll have probably like 3 or 4 different cameras, and we'll have the players are going to be mic'd up, and
Yeah, you can tell from here, like you can definitely see that we chose probably the worst spot in this entire building
big
to
old
place our stream.
window right here.
Yeah, we got a big.
Say hello to Reno. See, that's why there was a glare at the very beginning on the stream table and everything like that. Because, so.
Yeah, but then Jeff, the store owner, helped us out and put those
tables right there. So.
Yeah, so from the stream view, it really helped out.
Yeah.
All right. Let's gonna take a step back and see what's going on.
Yeah, let's get back to the action. So.
Yep.
Not that there isn't a lot of other action going on here today.
Diesel fueled, hard hitting action.
Hard hitting.
Extra spicy.
Extra spicy. Yep.
Yep. So actually, I think.
Can you pop that over again?
Yeah. Here, I'll give you your view back.
Thanks.
Because we got a We got like a Minority Report, like triple monitor going on over
Yeah.
here.
Hacker man right here.
There we go. Now
Cool.
Trainer
Now
can
I
see
can
the
see
stream.
on my monitor here. Looks like both men here's are down.
Yeah, so that's actually I feel like that's a pretty
Oh,
good.
that hurts.
Yeah,
You
that's
see those
pretty-
screamers did a lot of damage too.
Yeah, actually, so that was one of the things where I thought, so these screamers on the bottom right there, they did not kill that Technomancer.
No, they did not.
Yeah, no, he's down to 1 wound left.
Yeah, it's still that hurts though.
Yeah, well, it's
That
funny.
really
this-
hurts.
Yeah, the 3 screamers up top did more damage than the 4 on the bottom.
Yeah. Man, that's bad for Jayson. And both men here's are down.
Yeah.
Is the Nightbringer's still up? He got charged by Nurglings. Can Nurglings even? Do you think they could do enough wounds? Like
Well, they're-
every wound counts against the
They're
Nightbringer.
hitting on like 4s, wounding on 6 because he's
Yeah.
3-7.
But doesn't he only have like a 4-up invul or something?
Yeah, he only has a 4 invuln, which I mean,
I get a couple wounds.
it could happen.
Every wound counts when you only have 9 wounds, and you're a 350 point model.
We don't have anyone fully within this border.
Yep, so it looks like we're finishing off battle round 2 for Ryan, so if you want to go take a look, see what he scored on there.
Okay.
And I'll get
I
it.
heard assassinate.
So,
Okay. Did he get any grind? Yeah.
Jason's going to score 5 at the beginning of this turn.
Alright, so let's go ahead and pull it up for everyone there, just so you can see what we're talking about here. So Ryan did score another 3 points for engage since he was in all of the 4 table quarters. Sadly, he didn't get that assassinate for killing that Technomancer because he lived there with 1 wound, but hey, what Jason's doing right now is doing that whole living metal and bringing him back up to 2.
Uh-huh.
And then for Jayson, at the start of his turn 2 for his primary, he was only holding the 1 objective, so he only got the 5 points for that.
Yeah.
So at least right now, you can see by like the point total tallies that Ryan does have the edge right now, but still, this is only the bottom
Only
of round
bottom
2.
of round 2. See if Jayson can break out.
Yeah.
Jason's got a pretty decent list. I think that he'd be better playing Novak, but
Yeah, I feel like maybe the reason why he brought the Saracon is so that he could have more interactions between the Silent King and things like the Technomancer to heal up, but in this case he's not even close enough to do that. But yeah, definitely, I feel like the 2 strongest Necron sub-factions that you could choose is either Novak, which is more of the close combat focused version of the Necrons, which is really good, or the Custom Dynasty, where you take you could do with all of your Dynasty units a 6-inch pregame move before the first battle round starts, and also treating all of your models as objective secured, or if you're already objective secured, then you count as 2 models.
yeah, that's a good one too. That's really good with Scarabs.
Yeah. Alright, thank you, Real Lee Cosplay, for following. And also to answer your question there, so this is actually a Necrons versus a mixed Demons battle. So you can see,
Nurgle, there's no corn.
yeah, so it's almost chaos. It's chaos mostly undivided. Yep, so at least for Ryan's list, he has he brought 3 keepers of secrets and then the 1 named Salaxi keeper. So that's how he got the 4 big keeper of secret-esque style models. And also you can see in the upper middle-ish is that Lord of Change there that he brought the Impossible Robe, and he has a good 3-up invuln.
you have to keep throwing the wounds until the one.
Yeah, thanks for answering your question there, Real Lee. Hopefully I'm saying that right too. Kind of still got a pretty nasty glare on my monitors over here, but you know what, as time goes on, that should go away. Because I believe that is exactly how the sun works. Alright, cool. So yeah, still in the movement phase right now for the Necron player Jayson. It looks like he's just trying to keep some models on his leftmost objective, which was in his deployment zone. Yep, and then moving that Technomancer back there, just because he does not want to tango with those Screamers. Because they almost got him, but they're hoping to finish the job, but we'll see what happens there, because right now you can see on the bottom left, the Silent King is still in combat with that Keeper, which actually, that's pretty interesting. I thought he might have been able to take care of him. So going back to Ron's question, it seems like it's actually a stalemate between the Silent King and the Keeper's Secrets. Once Trainer gets back here, I'll ask him to see what wounds they're left at. Alright. Then it looks like those are, with how far he's measuring, I believe those are the warriors who are trying to figure out what he's going to do with them in that upper left-hand side. Alright, and actually it looks like we're at the end of the movement phase because Jayson's now rolling for the Catan powers. So they're kind of like psychic powers, but they actually happen at the end of the movement phase because if you want to get into the lore of it, Catan existed long before Psychers did, and back in the days when the Necrons still had flesh and everything, so they're not quite Psychers, but they're as close as they can get with those. Yeah. Hey, Steve, you want to join us on the stream while Trainer's out?
Sure.
Alright, well, got a good pal Steve here. Sadly,
How's it going, guys?
Yep, sadly, since we had an odd number of players, we did have a bye round, so, hey, you get your free 75 points.
I guess.
Yeah, it's about as good as that's going to get, but, yeah, it's one of the things where, yeah, it sucks to happen, but, yeah, sadly, we just couldn't get another player in there. But, hey, you know what? You get a free win, so, depending on how some of the other games go, you might even be on the stream table.
Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see if anyone scores higher than that.
A lot of good games out there today.
Yeah, that's from what I've seen so far.
Finally get to see Space Wolves debut, and they're doing pretty well.
Yeah, that's who? It's what's his name again?
It's Zach.
Yeah,
and
Zach Backus.
I don't know the other guy's name.
Yeah, that's all right. Some newer players from our area, so we're still getting to know everyone around here.
Yeah. How's Ryan doing? He's doing all right?
Yeah, right now he's up. Here, I'll pull it up for the viewers and yourself, what the scoreboard's looking like. So right now, Ryan, he really pulled in good with his turn 2 primary. He's able to score those 15 points and then only make it so that Jayson could only get 5 points
All right.
for his turn 1. Or
Looks like
turn
he's
2.
struggling with grinding down.
Yeah, I feel like when I was watching Ryan pick his secondaries, he was really having trouble trying to pick his last secondary, which was that grinding them down right there.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of armies have that one that they can't, they just struggle to score.
Yeah, and yeah, because normally Ryan with this list, he would try to take Psychic Ritual because, like, that's the reason. I think he does that with his Big Lord of Change. But with the Nightbringer in that, you don't want to get that chicken too close to him.
Yeah, you can't afford to lose anything tonight.
Yep. Yeah, but you can see right now, here, let's go ahead and pull this off so we can see more of the table. You can see in the upper left-hand corner, like right about a little bit above that L ruin on the left, that's where the Nightbringer is. He's just tied up in combat with some Nurglings. And that's really, I feel like, the best way to deal with the Nightbringer is if you can't really stop him unless you can get those wounds off of him, but you could also keep him tied up potentially if you have enough wounds to tie him up with.
Yeah, just send all your useless stuff at
Yeah,
him.
and then the Lord of Change is sitting there just like smiting and doing all sorts of mortal wounds to him, just trying to whittle him down.
Yeah, Nightbringer is just such a huge threat on the table.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so far he hasn't been able to take out too much other than like some of those Nurglings that he's been into. But I wasn't able to see what he was doing with his Catan powers. I think he actually might have taken down some Nurglings with those end of the movement phase mortal wounds that he could do.
You're seeing a lot of these greater demon lists popping up ever since 9th started, and it's kind of cool to see those less played armies start to get some attention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and yeah, if I remember correctly, I think it's TJ Lanigan who's been recently playing like some of like pretty much like a same-esque style of Bash Bros, but he does more of a take that's more of like the Zinch style where he brings Magnus, I think one Lord of Change.
Yeah, put a bunch of casters behind a ton of meat. and just pop out whenever something gets too close, and then run back and start casting again.
Yeah, because at least right now, like, it's a pretty good counter meta matchup. Because, like, right now, a lot of the Space Marines that you're bringing, they're either going to be close combat focus, and the only real big shooting that they're going to bring is either going to be, like, Plasma or Scepters, because really, from what I've seen, Eliminators have been falling out of style. So, really, with Magnus, you're able to effectively keep him alive, because for a lot of the matchups there just will be things that won't be able to shoot him turn one, and then he could get all of his buffs up on him and then just walk up and do whatever he wants because he's a big old Primarch of 1,000 Suns.
Yeah.
Yep, doing some command points real quick.
All right, you can give it up.
Yep. Goodbye, Steven. We'll see you next time.
Looks like Harut's getting clapped. Like really hard.
Who's he matched up against?
John.
Oh,
John's got the Salamander plus.
yes, he's saying, yeah, Salamander in the guard. He said he really wanted to play as Salamanders today, so he just threw in
They
a
look
little
beautiful.
detachment. Oh yeah, I haven't been able to take a look at those yet.
They look gorgeous.
Yeah.
Sorry, we had to make the pizza announcement.
Yeah. Yep. Apparently, I'm also not very good at clicking the mute button.
No. Yeah, it looks like Harut's getting kind of messed up. Todd's kind of winning his game handedly. A lot of the other games might not be as close as I think that they are, but I mean, Travis is, I think, down right now, but like his opponent doesn't have very much left. So.
Alright, yeah, sorry about that. Had to make another announcement. Didn't want to yell into the stream at all. Alright. Alright, cool. Looks like Jayson spent another CP there. I'll go ahead and bring him down. Yeah, one of the things you can see, like with Jayson bringing the Silent King, he just has that nice soft cushion of CP for this entire game. Hey, Sideways, thanks for following the channel. Glad to see you here. Hope you could stay. But yeah, what is going on with that? With the Necrons, they don't have the best stratagems, I would say, but they have a lot of like pretty good efficient stratagem things that you could do with them. I know one of the things that I almost always do, like when shooting either warriors or immortals with their Gauss cannons, is the stratagem. Sorry, I don't remember the name of it, but I know for 1 CP you get to when you roll a 6 to hit with a Gauss weapon, it automatically wounds the target. So that's really good way of like getting around things like some of the Space Marines that have transhuman physiology, where they force it to where you can only wound on a 4-up. And also other things like -1 to wound that I know like Scorpec Destroyers or some other models could have. Oh, yeah, Sideways, looks like you're here for some of the XPZ guys. So actually, I know we had a few guys here from XPZ. I wasn't super familiar with any of them. Are you guys local here in Reno? Yep, and looks like we have some pizza. It smells pretty good, but gotta keep on casting, man.
Yeah. You gotta live that life. That grind.
Yep, the pizza life.
You're not really any good.
Oh yeah, no, I'm good right now. Alright. Yep, so actually it looks like we are in the charge phase right now, so we can see that the Silent King did drop down and charge into those Screamers, because if those Screamers were left just to free roam, they could have gone and finished off that Technomancer, giving Ryan some more of his assassinate points.
Right.
And also, with them not being there, it also helps with Jayson trying to eventually
Did you
prevent...
bump Jason's Abhor the Witch up?
I did not. He's up to 10 now. Alright, so that'll be updated here in a second. There we go. Okay, so yeah, sideways. So it sounds like XPZ. It sounds like there's some Reno guys and Vegas guys. So actually, yeah, it's cool seeing that you got sort of a pretty like spread out.
XBZ's from?
Yeah.
From Vegas?
Yeah, it sounds like they're from Vegas and Reno and
Oh.
SoCal. Yeah, never heard
Only
of you guys.
Vegas guys I know of is the Worm Gladiators. I'm just gonna fuck off. How about that?
Alright,
I'm gonna go eat over here.
alright, sounds good. Yeah, sorry about that. Had a discussion with trainer on eating and stream. Probably is not the best sounding thing to listen for all you viewers there. But yeah, hopefully sideways. You're down in Vegas. One of the things we talked about earlier in the stream is we're actually going to be hosting a GT level tournament here in end of June. Hopefully we'll be able to do so with all the COVID requirements. Hopefully that starts freeing up. Yeah, so one of the things I was talking about is later in June we are going to be holding a GT level tournament at the RageCon, which is happens up here in Reno towards the end of June. RageCon, if I remember correctly, that's an acronym for Reno Area Gaming Expo, so there's actually a lot of other things and events that are happening there. But one of the things that we talked about earlier with Jeff, the store, one of the store owners here at Game Castle, also is the head organizer for that, so we've been working with him on trying to get that event set up, so we're hoping that will be the first GT that we run for that, so yeah, like what you're asking there. Yeah, definitely a GT level event. If I remember correctly, when Trainer was talking about this earlier, he said that we're looking to have around 38 players to start off with, but depending on if we could get more room, we'd definitely like to expand that. And with that, definitely, it's a good thing we have the sponsor, Warlayer, who's supplied us with all the 3D printed terrain that we have here. So yeah, definitely we'll be doing a lot of 3D printing of terrain just to make sure that we can fill up all those tables and hope to have all that gorgeous terrain on there. Yeah, that'd also be pretty cool if we have some San Diego guys showing up. We're hoping to get like some of the other like players from the Bay Area too. Maybe we might be able to get some of the Utah guys. I'm not super familiar if there's any like big gaming groups over there, but for them it's I think it's about like a 4 or 5 hour drive from Salt Lake City to here in Reno, so it'd be shorter than some distance I know some people travel for GTs. Yeah, thanks for the compliment on the train. So it's actually pretty funny. This is a train that we've been printing for a couple of weeks now. I know like between our gaming group we have 3 FDM printers, and we pretty much had those things running like all day doing prints for about 2 weeks, and then just this last weekend we were able to get all of that stuff painted up. Alright, that's cool. Yeah, there's some Utah guys that goes to Power 9 RTT. I'll have to look that up later and see if I could find some of their groups on Facebook or whatnot, just to make sure that they know that that tournament exists that we're hoping to have. Cool, yeah, thanks for letting them know about that too. So let's try to get back more into the game again, so let's see what's happening here. Yep, so it looks like he was Jayson's discussing what's going, like some of the special rules for the Silent King that talked about a few times already. And let's see what he is rolling for here.
Five? No, three. Three on one of these.
Oh, that's right. That's the other part of the Sarikon Dynasty. You get one free wound reroll per attack as well. So it looks like Ryan's making some saves here, and we'll soon see what he is saving. So it looks like, ooh, the Scarabs, they took out a base of those Nurglings there for the Battle of the Swarms. Oh, actually, yeah, he lost two of them. So it looks like in the fight of 4 Scarabs versus 4 Nurglings, the Scarabs have the upper hand. Alright, so now it looks like he's piling in with the Warriors, trying to finish off that last Screamer there. With the number of models there, there's a good chance he should go down, since it seems like that Screamer still has 2 wounds left. Yep, so those are his attacks for the Warriors. Yep, this is his wound roll. Alright, 3 wounds. If he fails 2 of them, that Screamer's down. And he saved him. Cool. Yeah, trainer, one of the guys...
Pizza's done.
Yep. No more pizza.
No more pizza.
Yep. So, one of the things, talking with one of the guys in chat that's from the XPC group, it sounds like he knows some of the guys in the Utah area too, that he'd reach out to and let them know about the Rage GT that's going on.
Cool.
Just so we could, yeah, just the more players, the more diverse the crowd, the better for us.
More teams, the better.
Yep.
We're probably going to open up more slots too. I'm thinking that 36 is kind of tentative right now.
Yeah, I mean, we're still like up in the air because I know there's a lot of the landscape has been changing.
We could always
COVID.
add more slots. We can't reduce slots. So
Yeah,
we want to start small and work up.
Yeah, because it'd really feel bad if we overcommit and then say, well, sorry, the last few people that signed up can't get in there, even though you thought you could.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see. I lost track of the game. Let's see what's rolling here. So, 2 damage weapons. That sounds like some Triarch Praetorian swinging. So that seems to be the 6 wounds left on that Keeper of Secret down there. So I believe that's a middle bracket. Alright, looks like it's the start of a new battle round, so I'm gonna once again go mute the mic and see what's going on over there. All right, pulling up the score again. So at the start of Battle Round 3, which let me update that display. The start of Battle Round 3 there, looks like Ryan was able to score another 15 for that primary, which I feel like is going to be part of the reason if he wins this game, it's all going to be because of the primary, because secondaries are looking a little hard for him. He still hasn't been able to assassinate any character, and also he just hasn't been able to get past the gap for grind them down, which is killing more enemy units than your opponent during that battle round. Yeah, sorry, Nellican, had to mute the mic just because there's a lot of background noise for a minute while I was going and looking to see what the scoreboard's at. And then for Jayson, he was able to score during turn 3, his or during the turn 2, his first set of Code of Combat with the Silent King, killing the Screamers down on the bottom side of the screen.
I do. I mean, right now it doesn't work well.
Alright, so now we're into the movement phase for the demon player Ryan. So it's looking like what he needs to do right now is he's trying to move that keeper back down. It looks like what he might be trying to do is just ensure that he keeps something in that corner for engage. But I'm not sure if he would necessarily need to do that because it looks like he still has 2 of those nerdlings on the bottom side there. Alright. Yeah, and you can see on the table there, looks like Trainer right now is passing out some raffle tickets for random prize drawing here at Game Kastle. Definitely a lot of thanks to them for letting us host the event here and also helping out with the prize support. Yep, so it looks like for that Big Bird, Lord of Change, he is now going to be the one in the middle of the table. I'm not exactly sure why he's potentially what he could be doing for moving him over there. Is trying to move the keeper there just to try to do some more mortal wound support, maybe trying to take out that Silent King. Alright, looks like Ryan's still trying to think, hearing some discouraging words from himself, not exactly sure where he needs to move stuff. Yeah, actually, potentially, I think what that other Lord of Change on the bottom right-ish side, he's probably going to be charging into those Praetorians that are engaged with that other Keeper of Secrets in the bottom. Yep, we're in the Psychic phase now. The Demon Lord of Change just casted Gaze of Fate and got that off pretty easy because, you know, looking pretty good thing to have there. Alright, looking into some of the chats. Yeah, Jayson keeps fixing the train, so yeah, like we were talking about earlier, from what I've heard, the natural transition from going from wargaming later in life is to the hobby train. Just, you know, making up those dioramas, building those tiny little people, and just really getting into that landscape. Landscaping of the trains. So it looks like, yeah, we're doing some mortal wounds right now to those Praetorians. Got 1 mortal wound onto 1. Those Praetorians are 2 wounds each, so sort of like the Primaris equivalent to the Space Marines for the Necrons.
What are?
Oh, the Praetorians, because they're like the 2 wounds, but also toughness 5. So they're like the more tough version of the Necron.
Praetorians are pretty good, I think.
Yeah, there's something where, at least for myself, I haven't had the chance to play with them because I don't own any of those models, but yeah, they definitely seem like they're good because the one thing that Necrons don't really have is fast, so with the Praetorians, they have a base 10-inch move.
They do?
Yeah.
Why are they so fast?
You know those little orby things on their back? That's a jump pack.
Oh.
Yeah, also a fast attack slot. Let's see, anyone playing Nids? I don't think we have a Tyranid player today.
Nids? No.
Yeah, I remember...
John has some.
Yeah,
but he's
John
not playing
Bonatelli.
today.
He said when he was talking this morning, it sounded like he was sort of torn between either playing his Tyranids or playing his Astra Militarum with the Salamanders. And
If I had to play a Ringer army, I'd be playing my Nids today, but
yeah. Yeah, Nids, I know they definitely got some pretty good love coming out with the new Forge World book.
Forge World book, they got a lot of love. They essentially got written back into relevance, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, between the I'm gonna forget all their names of them, but
The Demacaron
Yeah.
is the star of that book.
yeah, the Macron who could just
Yeah.
walk. He effectively has fly now.
Yeah, well, he always had that.
Yeah.
What he got was that instead of having to eat somebody to get a 5-up invul, he just has it.
Yeah.
Instead, he'll eat somebody and get a 5-up feel no pain, which is, that alone is a pretty big thing. But also his eating rule is better too. I think it's everybody that he makes an attack against. Or no, it's like one unit that he makes attacks against, even if he doesn't hit any attacks. And I could be wrong, but this is how I played it. They have to roll a d6, and they add their strength. The unit that was attacked, so like a Space Marine or whatever, they have to beat the Demacaron's strength. So
Yeah, actually, how many wounds does Demacaron have?
18. It cannot
Oh, yeah,
get obscuring,
yeah, so that's
but
right.
it's like 220. It's not very expensive, so I think it's 210 points, which is kind of a steal for a T7 5-up invul, 3-up armor, 18 wound model that has, that could also gain benefits from like I always give mine the enhanced digestion so they can heal themselves. But essentially, when they hit something, if they fail that roll off against your strength, that unit just takes D6 mortal wounds. They just take a super smite, and if any models die from that, they get a 5-up feel no pain. The Demacaron.
Yeah, that's pretty good, you'd say. And then the other thing, at least I know in your Tyranid list, you also brought the barbed Hyrule.
Yeah, those are nice. They can't get obscuring either, so that's like the other downside to them is that they could be shot by literally everything, but they're only like 300 points for a barbed Hyrule, and they're like T8, 18 wounds, 2-up armor. So if you take Jormungandr, they have a 1-up armor all the time because they have cover against shooting. So 1-up armor, you could still give them Dermic Symbiosis. They have a 5-up invul. That's the biomorph or whatever they could get. So I think they're pretty strong. I don't think they're like gonna break the game or anything like that. Maybe when there's a new Nid Codex they could do better, but I think Demacarons are really good. I think that they are. I think you have to take 2.
Yeah, and I feel like they're also good into the Space Marine meta because Space Marines, like a lot of those lists are just I'm only elite units, and you don't really have any screening to stop them because
Yeah, you could just walk over screens
yeah,
too.
and also with the Demacarons, like they have like the crazy move, could walk over terrain and models. But yeah, they're pretty rough.
Shame you couldn't make it sideways.
Yep. Yep. Hopefully, at least for the game Kastle RTTs, we're hoping to host these.
Every 2 months.
Yeah, about every 2 months here. Just because at least here locally, we want to try to switch on and off months with another game store out in Fernley, Dyson
Yeah.
Duels. So yeah, we're hoping that every other month we could try to run one of these. At least for myself, I'll probably be running the streams here for most of those. At some point, I guess I'll still be able to play 40k still because every other
Yeah.
month I could still
Same with
go
me.
to Dyson Duels. Yeah, same with Trainer. Just because we're definitely trying to help with the Reno community and just sort of like bring it out because at least here in Reno we had a lot of 40k players, but not a lot of 40k tournament organizers to really like get to the teams together and play. Just been like a lot of like groups in the like their own bubbles. So we're really trying to, stir that pot.
Yep. I would have loved to have played today.
Yeah, it'd be fun to play too. I'm really liking how those Necrons are looking.
Beat Todd's ass. My Harlequins or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm playing Sisters though, so.
Yep, so let's see. It looks like on that bottom side, that Keeper Secrets on the objective has, I think he's killed all of the Praetorians. I think there's one left, so yeah, we're in the charge
Yeah,
phase
there's
here.
one left.
So he's probably going to get wiped
Yeah,
out.
this is a... I think Ryan just executed his strategy really well, and going first really helped. I think if Jayson would have been able to go first, he would have been able to push out more.
Yeah.
Like, at least going first. Going first is not always, like... I think that, from what I've been seeing from some folks, like, going first is, like, the end. Like, it's really good, but, like, I think it really depends on the army. It really depends on, like, when you're thinking about going first or second, you have to think, like... who's going to charge first this game? If it's two slow armies, I'll probably go first, my slow army, so I can move up, and then my opponent's slow army will move up, and then I could charge his slow army. Now, if he's playing like a fast army, maybe I want him to go first, because then he has to move all of his fast elements into... And then you also have to look like, if your opponent's fairly out in the open and you've got some good shooting, maybe you want to go first. It's a very strategic decision. It could win you or lose you the game.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of factors in choosing if you want to go first or second. So yeah, and definitely with a board control team, an army, I feel like in most cases you probably want to go first, so you can really just push that board out and then make it so that your enemy or your opponent has to react to you,
right?
And so you're sort of forcing the decisions that they have to make, and you could at least think about what's going on with that.
Yeah, Ryan's kind of demonstrating how strong these demons are. That early pressure they could get. And then also, just starting on the objectives. If you think about this, if Jayson had gone first and Ryan was sitting on those objectives in the middle with those Nurglings, Jayson could have just moved forward, charged those Nurglings, and he'd be on 2 objectives right now. And he'd just have to sit there and hold. Yeah, Mason, I like going second a lot of times too. Especially with shooting armies, man. I want my opponent to move on to the objectives before I start shooting them. I want them to... And if they don't move on to the objectives, then I'm going to move up there, I used to play AdMech for a while too, and, I would choose to go second because I want my opponent to move out. I want them to get out of the... Especially on a mission like this one where the objectives are out in the open. I want them to move out,
Yeah, because definitely the way, because of we got a dice rolling over here, but at least with going from 8th edition to 9th edition now, with the way that we deploy, it's the whole you deploy one, I deploy one. It really adds a lot more unknown to the game when you're starting.
I don't know
off.
if that's necessarily a good thing, but
yeah, and at least for me,
time.
my perspective on that too is it is a more time-consuming deployment.
Yeah.
But at least with the way that 9th edition is, generally you're having smaller armies. I mean, there's some give and take to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll put some F's in chat for Ron's Mortarian.
Yeah.
Here, I'll go ahead and give you one.
Yeah, that's Ron. Oh man.
F in chat for Ron's Mortarian.
Yep.
AdMech can do some pretty nasty things in the shooting phase.
Man, they are a brutal army. They're still pretty good. They're just not really my style.
Yeah, well, I feel like they're probably one of the best shooting armies in the faction or the game right now.
I think they are the best shooting army in the game. That's my opinion.
Yeah, but then the problem is with 9th edition, the castle style shooting, it's really hard to pull off now.
It really is.
Especially with all the obscuring terrain and, well, assuming you have good obscuring terrain, then that's where it becomes harder to run a good shooting army.
So the trick is with those castle armies is that you want to hold 2 objectives. And the thing is, those castle armies are not good on the scenarios where you hold 2 for 5 points. Because usually you want to spread out on 2 objectives, and that's where you want to sit. So, on this one, if I'm on Jayson's side right here on the left, I'm going to spread out on that bottom objective, the very, very bottom, and the one in this deployment zone. And I'll probably deploy my entire castle. I'll probably put Call behind the L in the deployment zone on the bottom left. And I'll give all my rerolls and everything like that. Even with Sisters, I think I would do that. I tend to only push for 2 objectives, and then since I'm more of a reactive player, I tend to push towards hold my objective and hold one other objective so I can get at least 10 points every turn, and then I'll see what my opponent's doing, and then I'll see where I'm going to push and prod to try and get that 3rd objective later. And usually that works out for me. Sometimes it doesn't, of course, but especially if your opponent's like pushing against you. Did you submit your score? All right, good.
Yep.
First result came in, and John playing Salamanders and Astra Militarum beat Harut playing White Scars, 84 to 50.
It's a pretty solid win.
It is. Harut's army's also not battle ready. It's not painted, so I'm
Yeah,
wondering
so-
if 84 to 60 was what it actually was, and that's not a bad loss for Harut. Harut could still bounce back this tournament and get second or third.
Yeah, because at least like with the nature of RTTs, like there's a lot of fluctuation that can
There
happen
really
within
is.
the games. So like even if you lose turn one, there's still like a good chance that you like if you like get like 90-point scores for turn or game 2 and game 3, you could still end up in second place.
There's also like some players can knock themselves out and stuff too. I got an announcement to make really quick. We only have 1 minute left on the clock. Mine says 46, 45, 44.
Yep. Yeah.
Sorry, we have to run a pretty tight tournament today because
Yeah.
we've got no lunch break and we got some guys from out of town and everything. So
Yeah.
what I'm probably gonna do is if it's the top of a round, I'm gonna let the bottom player still play. But other than that, it's a hard dice down. So 13, 10.
Yeah, so it looks like this game, it's probably, right now we are on battle round 3. It looks like it's the bottom of it right now, so this might
What
be...
round are you guys on?
It might end on that.
This last round.
Yep, so it looks like...
All right, finish your round.
Yep.
I'm gonna take a lap.
Alright, yep, so I'll keep you guys here nice and cozy. So yeah, it looks like this game, I don't think Jayson really is going to be able to score enough to take the W on this game. But we will see, because I have not had the chance to go look at a scorecard yet. So it looks like likely he only scored 5 more points on his primary for turn 1, just looking at the board state right now at the start of his turn. He only had models on his deployment zone objective on the left there. And for the secondaries, I mean, he could potentially score another 5 points for killing another Keeper of Secrets or the Lord of Change, but I just think that Ryan on his primary is just, it was too much for the Necrons on this fateful day. Alright.
Yeah, we're gonna let the last. I mean, I think there's only one. Almost everybody finished roughly around round 3. Some of these, I told them to finish the round, so I don't think anybody was on the top of a turn. I think everybody was at the bottom, or they finished the game or talked it out, whatever. So
Yeah, well,
I definitely don't like not having a resolution to a game. So it's kind of a shame that these guys weren't able to finish.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things, like, especially like game 1 of a tournament, like it's early in the morning for the players, and because we're not playing with any chess clocks right now, it's like easy to lose track of that time.
It is.
And it's one of the things where I definitely, like, it isn't a bad thing. Like, there's definitely, like, it's still good to learn the game.
Yeah.
Like, try to work more on your time management, and I feel like that's something where it really helps you with the game itself if you sort of have like a plan of what you want to do before the game, so that you could easily execute that plan without spending a bunch of time just sitting there thinking about what's going on.
I mean, you only hurt yourself if you don't finish your game. But you shoot yourself in the foot because, like, if you see here, Ryan's going to win this game, but he only got 56 points.
Yeah,
know?
so it'll be a victory, but he might not
It's
go
going to be
towards
very,
the top.
yeah, it's like he has to go undefeated, you know. So, yeah, it's it's also tricky too because most of the time you don't want to be mean to your opponent or anything. You don't want to like tell them like, hey, can you hurry it up? You know, like you don't want to be a jerk like that. But sometimes you just have to do it. It's a tournament. And,
Yeah, even though it's an RTT, like, yeah, there's still, like, you want to have some competitive integrity towards it,
Yeah.
and just, like, yeah, just say, bring it up, but, like, don't be a dick about it.
Yeah. Try to win, but don't be a dick while you're doing it.
Yep.
So, and also we do have chess clocks here if any players want to request them. So, nobody requested one. Personally, I would not hesitate to take one out against like players that I know are slow. Maybe not against like new players, but I don't know. It really depends. I know there's some. If I go to LVO or something, I'd probably bust it out every round.
Yeah, because that's, like, high stakes.
Even GTs.
Yeah, I mean, that's, like, a more, like, no hold back, but you still want to do that with a level of integrity.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to be the guy who, like, keeps a secret stratagem, or, like, at least, like, you want to be open to your opponent of, like, letting them know, like, what are you doing? What is my intent for what I'm doing? Because if you're just not saying anything, just moving models, that's where you end up having a lot more, like, contention on, like, hey, you're not close enough for that.
Everybody's here to have a good time.
Yeah.
Not that. I mean, we're not saying that there's jerks at LVO because I had 6 excellent opponents at LVO this last year. So I had great games, great people. Everybody's there to have a good time. I don't think I've ever really had an unpleasant game of Warhammer. I might have had one, but
Yeah. All right, so it looks like we're getting close to cleanup here. So if you want to go take a look at the scoreboard.
Yep,
see
I'm
what's
gonna
going on.
go take a lap again.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Actually, before you do that, you want to.
is this game over yet?
Yeah, it's pretty close to being over.
Whose turn is it? Are you finishing your turn? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So actually, once this game does end, I'll go ahead and update the scoreboard, and then we'll sort of
So
go
we'll
over what
go into
happened
transition.
there.
Submit it on the app.
Oh, I already did. So
Oh,
just
okay.
one
I don't need that.
Josh?
I don't need that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just submit it on the app.
Yep. We have technology.
What is neat too about BCP is that they have scorecards up now that I can allow players to use.
Yeah, that's one of the things I haven't been able to.
I've never tried it before,
Yeah,
so that's
neither
why I
have
don't
I.
really want to use
Yeah,
it. You know.
we'll be technologically savvy enough to use BCP, but yeah, we don't want to subject that to people for their first tournament here. Once we get like more tournaments running here and more people are like used to the format and everything, we'll start looking to doing
I
that.
don't really trust BCP either. It's a very
Yeah,
volatile.
but I mean,
app,
it's one of
if
the
I
things
say
where it's
so.
like we love the app. It's just I mean, hey, Trainer and myself, we're software engineers.
Yeah, we're both software developers.
Yeah, so we,
yep.
we know the
We know
feels
how
of
it
that.
goes. Yep. All right, so kind of interesting because I think is the Nightbringer down? No, he's still alive.
Yeah, there's no
See,
way.
this
to
is
say.
this is the interesting thing, right? Is you have to like,
Nightbringer has
if you have 2 major hammers in your list that are supposed to do almost all your killing, right?
Yeah.
You have to defend those guys, right? But you also have to like make sure that you use them. Like, not saying that Jayson did not.
Yeah.
But like you have to. It kind of puts the onus on you to make sure that you did it right. It looks like Jayson also like did he veil a darkness up top on the bottom on the upper right?
I
Looks
believe
like
so.
he
Yeah.
did, yeah. So that's another like spring of mobility that Necrons could bring.
Yeah.
Is they could just read deep strike abilities are some of the best abilities in the game right now.
Oh, yeah,
That's why I like warp spiders and Harlequins can read deep strike. The best read deep strikes are the ones where you could do it immediately on that
Yeah,
turn.
that's actually what I was talking about with the Ophidian destroyers for the Necrons. For 1 CP, you could just re-deep strike them.
Yeah, it's really good. Necrons have a lot of tools. They have like. They are a very competent army. They could win GTs if we were having any right now. They have all the tools that I think that they need to like compete right now. They used to be one of the worst armies in the game, and they're kind of like AdMech, I guess. Not like, I guess they're not kind of like AdMech, but like AdMech used to only do one thing, and that was really well. And like they used to just shoot really well, and now they get like they get the horses, they get planes that are really good, they get close combat units that are pretty decent, like the Electro Priests, and like they actually could play every aspect of the game except for the psychic phase, of course. But I think Necrons are like They
Yeah,
have
they're-
great screens, really good hammers. They're slow, but they could have springs of mobility, like with the.
Yeah, well, also they have the resilience as well,
Mm-hmm.
which is a pretty strong part of it, especially with the hold at the start of your next turn.
Everything that you
objectives.
need to win a 9th edition game, Necrons have. They have shooting too,
Yeah, the
and
only,
they got the Silent King.
yeah, the only phase that they don't do well in is Psychic because, you know, obviously Necron's in no Psychic phase.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if you want to be technical, you still got Catan powers there if you really need them.
All right.
37, 10, 47. 47 to 48.
It was that close? Wow.
Oh, so
Oh wow.
yeah, here, you want to hand us the scoreboard?
Yeah, let's
Just so we can get that
go over the
updated?
score really quick here. Sounds like a really close game. It didn't look very close,
I
but
got 2 on that last engage.
it was all the secondaries, man.
Yeah.
that's
It
what.
was primaries because he got those 3 from turn 1.
No, I mean like it was your secondaries pushed you back because you got that aboard the witch.
Yeah.
So this is the other downside to like an unfinished game is like Ryan only got his secondaries. He got 8. Jayson's aboard the witch. He got 15, and we knew he was going to get that. Like he got 15 on that. So where's the third witch that he killed? Oh, it's Big Bird. So yeah, so like that's.
Wait, so actually looking at this, here I'll go ahead and pull up the scoreboard so everyone can see. But actually it looks like it was 49 to 47 going off of that.
49 to 47.
Yeah, because he got 30.
9 on engage. 30.
30.
Yeah, it is 30. It is,
Oh,
I
it's
see.
only
So
eight,
it's
okay.
48 to 47. Ryan got this one by 1 point. Jayson only got 10 points on his primaries. Into turn 3, no engage on all fronts for him. Code of combat, he got 12 points on that. So the Silent King got busy, and then aboard the witch he got 15. So Jayson definitely brought it back with the secondaries, which we knew he was going to do. Like he has very easy secondaries to score,
Yeah.
and he could score them early. So that's like the other
Well, yeah, he
downside
just scored like 6 or
Like,
like 9 points in one turn with Code
for
of
them not
Combat.
finishing this game. Ryan could have lost this game, even though he was probably good. He was winning pretty much most of the game, and but he almost lost it. Fortunately for him, he won by 1 point, but it's still not a bad loss for Jayson because he's still got almost 50 points here. And as far as the difference between Ryan and Jayson for final standings or for the tournament itself, it's only a W or a win next to their name, and it's 1 point. So
Yeah, but like what we're talking about too with like the volatility of an RTT, there's still a chance where Jayson could get second place in this tournament.
yeah.
Yeah, because at least with the way that RTTs mostly work, you have to be the 1 or 2 undefeated players.
Good question there in the stream. When, as competitive players, do you try to talk it out with your opponent? You only ever really do that if it is very clear what's going to be happening on those last couple of turns. Only if it's very clear. You don't ever really do that if it's not clear. If it's not clear and you're starting to have arguments with your opponent about if, like, I'm going to kill this thing and I'm going to take this point and I'm going to get 5 points. Like, if your opponent disagrees with that, you either have to, like, roll it out. It's very...
No, it's just
It's a very contentious subject, like, talking it out. I'm okay with talking it out on, like, turn 5 or something like that. Or, like, turn 4, or, like... When it's pretty clear that the outcome of the game is finished, like it's decided, but also like the positioning on the table and what's left, you can easily tell what outcome is going to happen, because usually when you talk it out, you only talk out like who gets what points. So I don't think Jayson and Ryan could have talked this one out.
yeah, just
on
because there's
turn
so
3.
much of
There's
the
still a
game
bunch of
left.
stuff left, and it's only at the end of round 3. Now, Ryan, on his next turn, I think we would have got, 15 points? Because he had the top objective,
Yeah.
the one on the
Yeah,
right.
either 10 or 15.
I mean, he would have got 15 points right there. And then, like, there's still so much left. There's still so many outcomes that are, like, up in the air. Like, who's going to hit, You can never be too sure about how something's going to happen, but, like, if it's, like, 10 guardsmen swinging, or if it's, like, 10 guardsmen left and that's all I have, then definitely we could talk this thing out. There's no point in me only giving you, like, 4 rounds when I have 10 guardsmen left or something like that. Like, it has to be very, very clear, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right. So I think what we're gonna do here now is we're gonna put a quick pause on the stream. We'll need to get in between rounds. I know, at least for myself, I need to.
You want to talk to Ryan?
Yeah, we can get
You
Ryan.
want to talk?
Sure.
Okay,
Cool, yeah.
let's get the cam on.
Yeah. Yeah, here I'll let you interview him once I get this.
Okay.
Camera set
Yeah,
up.
I'll let Fork take a break because I've been up and around, but he hasn't.
All right. I'll eventually figure out how to technology. All right.
Is your army all packed up and everything?
Yeah. All right. So you could go ahead and sit here, Ryan. Or here, I'll.
Yeah, you go away.
Yeah, I go away.
Get out of here.
Turn that on. Turn that off. And we'll eventually have people here. All right. So you're all
Yeah,
good.
right. How'd you sit here this whole time? It's like really bright.
Oh, it sucked.
It was awful. It was terrible.
What?
The Knicks tell you they can't put their scores in.
They can't put their scores in?
Yeah, one of their Knicks.
Just Nick can't?
Yeah,
Okay.
the Knicks square team. They're the only ones who don't have scores submitted yet.
Give me their score, and I'll submit it in the app myself. All right, so 1 point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was really close, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking about it, and it looked like you were going to have it that whole game, it looked like, because you were going into that crucial turn 4 with
Yep.
another 15.
I would
That
have
would have
maxed out.
maxed your primaries. Why did you take Grind them down?
That's the first game I've played against Necrons proper. I underestimated how spongy they are.
Yeah.
They're just unkillable. And then the Nightbringer running around just nuking characters all day.
He could probably kill your whole army.
Yeah, he is death
by
to
him
demons.
himself, yeah.
As soon as he dropped the named keeper, I ran. So the whole table started shifting
Yeah,
away
yep.
from the
But it
Nightbringer.
definitely looked like you had like the bottom objective, your objective, and you were kind of like threatening Jayson's third. I think you would have got the Silent King eventually. How many wounds did he have left?
He had 13 left, and both of his shields were down.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, you probably would have. You had 2 keepers down there.
Two
still,
keepers were running right into him.
Yeah. I understand why you took Assassinate, and I think you would have gotten at least 10 points, like 12 points on that at the end of the game, had the game actually concluded.
Yep. So I expected Screamers, to actually take out one of the 2 characters that
Yeah, I
charged,
saw that one only had 1 wound left or something, right?
and they just couldn't do it.
Yeah. Well, what was your strategy on the first turn? Like, why did you move like you did?
I wanted to pin him back and keep his shooting down as much as possible, and just keep Nurglings on objectives for as long as possible. Max out the primary, pin Necrons back into whatever corner they're in, and it kind of worked.
Yeah, it did. Personally, I think you would have gotten close to.
Yeah, because
You would have almost gotten like 80 some points off this, I think.
Yep.
If the game kept going, I don't know if Jayson would have been able to pull out very much more. I think you would have almost been tabled though. I think that.
Yeah.
I think that the Nightbringer would have came down and probably finished off the last 2 of your keepers, but that's not the way that this game plays anymore. So it doesn't matter if you get tabled or not. So anyway, I don't see any questions in the chat for you, so we'll call this good.
All right, man.
Thanks for coming on here, and thanks for playing the game and
Sure thing.
everything. So, all right, man.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let me just welcome back, hello everyone. Not
Yeah.
welcome back. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and take a quick break on the stream.
Yep,
Once
we're gonna get the next round paired here.
Yep.
It's 1:30, 1:22 here. Some players are eating pizza. Everyone's just kind of like sitting around talking, having a good time. So, of course, they're distancing and they're all wearing masks. So, I have to make sure we say that.
Yeah.
All right, let's
think that's it.
transition over to the Be Right Back.
All right,
screen.
awesome. We'll throw some
You guys
bangers on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll
Bangers.
be right back.